Spain. So with either for some people probably Spain without the S, for some people Spain with a wonderful S, meaning the victory. Depending on who you obviously are. And I don't know about you, but usually I am one that loves Spain. I don't know about you, Envy. Do you like the track more or less? I don't know.
I do like the track because I feel like there is a lot of possibility to actually race on this track compared to some of the other tracks and
Ye-
um yeah, and I'm predicting a few spins definitely on turn 1 2.
hmm.
'Cause that's always a nice one.
Yeah, that's true. Spins are always. I mean, given the fact that Spain, especially like you said, is notorious for spinning very early on in the first corners, it's easy to lose it. And given our VL history, we have some candidates that like to spin, especially in qualifying, for either getting all the spins out or just hmm, just spinning because they can. um, but yeah, it will be interesting to see. Also, very interesting to see is we certainly have some drivers today not turning up. I think that's a weird segue to make, but what I'm trying to imply here is we have Sunny currently leading the World Drivers' Championship, and a certain guy that usually is always up there and fights Sunny for the World Drivers' Championship, or was up there, was Psyduck. But Zydox lately just hasn't turned up, and apparently today also doesn't turn up. I don't know about you, Envy, but for me, it's now just Sunny's to lose. I mean, if there's nobody out there challenging him really, and I think his teammate Gaben was good in tracks which were a little bit more technical, a little bit more challenging, like the last races they were. But I think besides Gaben, there's nobody up there that can really challenge him. What do you think?
I'm in on the same ship. I feel like at this point Sonny has to DNF at least 3 races for Gaben to even have the opportunity to overtake him. And with only a few races left to go, I think he has the championship in his pocket.
Uh,
Especially if Zydox doesn't come back, and today he can take away another 26 points if he does it right.
I mean, I I'm certainly on your side here. Given that Sunny is kind of ahead. I put on for you guys as well if watching the stream now the current World Drivers Championship. So Sunny has a nice lead of 40 points to Psydox. Psydox also not turning up today, meaning it's gotta either increase or stay about the same. And given that the races are not gonna get more, we're gonna get less races for him to catch up, and Gavin being even further behind. Uh, is it too early to say Sonny won this year as well? His drivers' championship. Hmm.
I
Maybe.
really don't. I really don't think it's too early to say with his current lead, especially since we can count Zydox out with his like latest races not showing up and stuff like that. It's between him and Gaben, so I'm pretty sure Sonny has this.
All right. I mean, I'm certainly on your part with this one. I think even if Zadok should come back, we've seen some times where there are scenarios where his PC just implodes on him, or the game just not being nice to him, and he DNS as well. If we put all that out and we still say he was gonna turn up starting next week and is gonna fight Sunny for that, doesn't mean that he's instantly winning it. And even if he's winning it, Sunny probably is in the second place. It will be a hard one. So I I won't say it now, but I think we can pretty confidently say this season has been Sunny's win again, where Driver Championship belongs to him. Same with the constructors, which looks really really good. I mean, unfortunately don't have it for you guys on screen, but as you might guess, I mean, first and third place is both Aston Martin. They're currently ahead with 444 championship points. Um, Jin League players, Jin mains, certainly happy now. um, and in second place, we have surprisingly the AlphaTauri boys, which also have been doing very, very well. They're sitting in second place with the championship with 255 points. Um, I don't know about you, but that is certainly a surprise. I would have said maybe the Red Bulls or certainly Haas coming in from the start of the season. Obviously, we thought Zydox and Flyer were gonna rock this one. Then after we saw that Flyer is not turning up, Zydox had a one-man job or two-man job to do by himself, which obviously is really hard. But seeing the AlphaTauri, which I think are usually were always Miffy and Dormin before the driver swap happened, is surprising, especially given that Hodgson and Red Bull was kind of consistent at the start of the race. I don't know about you, Envy, but I'm certainly surprised to see Hodgson, Dormin, and Miffy also up there. And I mean, I mean, from my point of view, Hodgson is a little bit more of a surprise than Miffy or Dormin, but I'm really happy to see them up there. I don't know about you. If have Do you expect them to be even higher, or what do you think? I mean, especially given Dormin that he won also some races, I am more than surprised.
I honestly think Dorming could possibly be a bit higher since he missed 2 races, or actually 3 races, and ended up retiring out of one. And seeing his like recent performance with like 2 wins out of the last 6 races out of my head, he's
Hmm.
been doing quite well for himself. And I think that's also where the AlphaTauri lead comes from compared to Red Bull, with the extra win over the Red Bull car.
Yeah. I mean, the second Red Bull car was most of the time Mancho. Uh,
Mancho, yeah.
yeah, he switched now to my team McLaren. Um, but at the time when he was at Red Bull, he had a semi good season. He had some retirements. S- some, yeah, I think quite a lot as and sometimes he was outside of the points. But when he was inside the points, he scored kind of good points for third. Um, I don't know. I expected him to be a little bit more up there. Uh, Now with the driver swap that happened, he's obviously driving for me. Um, I'm not sure what's gonna happen, especially now that Wilder, he was usually on my team, he switched now to the AlphaTauri boys. Not sure how the season for him went there. We've seen in the last race, I think where he got one time at seventh and a retirement since he switched there. Um, he's doing kind of alright. Not sure how happy Travis is about that one. What are your thoughts on Wilder switching there? And do you think really him, or do you see him improving?
Well, overall, I think Welder has been massively improving compared to the beginning of the season. So I'm not too sure if switching teams will have an impact on that. But I think during the last few races this season, I think Welder will just keep growing and gain pace. So I think he's definitely one to watch for.
So you're saying he's definitely up there eventually, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think if we give it a few races, I think he can definitely contest for some top 6 finishes. Seeing his current highest finish is a top 5 back in Singapore.
Hmm. All right. I mean,
No, actually, I'm wrong. It's not Singapore.
it was this. Was it the Steering Grand Prix? Could be.
Nah, it's I'm not good with the short names. SAP.
Yeah, I'm currently thinking as well.
I'm
But
thinking and I
that's why I
can't
said a
figure it
steering
out.
company. I could be, but I don't know.
Brazil, of course, Sao Paulo.
Oh,
That's
all
it.
right. Good thing we have two casters in here that don't know the names. No, but you're right. Given his fifth position, certainly has had some races where he showed he can have pace. the start of the season when I recruited him, he said that he still learns to drive on a wheel. So I didn't expect him really at the start to show results, um, which is fair. But he, like you said, you're right. He really improved himself, and I think I don't know. Most people, including me, would say if you really wanna improve and have develop as a driver, I think you cannot go with Project Red Bull. I myself was there as well, and having Travis coaching you, I don't know if you have anything in mind, but when I was in Red Bull, I was just so happy to have Travis teaching me the way. So probably will help him a lot as well. Not sure if you had heard anything or have any experiences with that one.
Uh, with Trev helping out drivers, or in what aspect?
Yeah, just in general. I don't know if you heard because I was in Red Bull project once, and I mean there were Travis helped me quite a lot in improving and showing me the ways. Not sure if you heard anything or if you just.
Uh, Not directly about F1, but I have a lot of experience with Travis in Assetto Corsa, and he's definitely a great mentor about setups and all like the technical aspects of racing.
Hmm.
So that's something I think any driver can take away from Travis, his knowledge about setting up a car.
I mean that's huge. If you have that one as already, I mean drivers. I mean it's the most important thing, right? Your car. If your car doesn't feel good, then you you cannot basically fight for anything. All right. Let's see. What do we have? What else do we have on here? Oh yeah. Um. Well, since we are today in Spain, the second round in the European tracks. Since we have a new format, we are not following. For anybody that's still new to this one or haven't watched for a while, we are not following the traditional calendar of Formula One, how they do in real life. We did sort out our own thing with the tracks, and we're currently in the European leg. And today is the Spanish Grand Prix, which usually I think is kind of in the middle of the season. This one moved a little bit later, because we felt like it will be probably a little bit more interesting. There's certain tracks that some people are better than others, and why not switch it, make it more interesting, right? So that's what we basically did, and that's why we, or our racing director decided to do this one. Today, we're also not gonna have a qualifying one, since we don't have enough drivers, and qualifying one would be basically just the 15 drivers or how many we have today, uh, racing around the track without any meaning. Meaning we will skip Q1 and get right into Q2 once it starts. Currently, we're waiting on the drivers to get into their cars, get ready, and try to move on from Q1 so we can hop into Q2. The action will give you later on Envy and Creden. Certainly positive that these two will carry you guys through an interesting uh race or qualifying, let's say this way. Both of them, obviously. Speaking of which, I can already hear him typing. um so yeah, any other things we currently have? I don't know about you, Envy, but I'm always hyped to for a Sunday, because not only we have we have interesting news right now. Apparently, we're gonna do unranked lobbies instead of leagues. Interesting. All right. But I don't know about you, Envy. I usually am really hyped about Sundays because, first of all, we get racing. Well, not really we in a commentator's box, but we gonna see a lot of racing, and I love racing better than anything else. Um, and I love the action. I love VL because it's not only competitive, it is friendly, competitive, chaotic, energizing, whatever you can say, anything that is just positive, and then just throw in. We're chaotic positive, right? You know the chart where it says chaotic neutral, chaotic good, or something like that? I feel like VL is up there with chaotic good. Am I talking too much random shit? I don't know if you still follow with me, Envy.
I'm following you. I'm just a bit I'm interested by your choice of terms.
Yeah, I'm trying to find my words here. I thought you would say it chaotic good,
Well,
but was I think no, was it chaotic good?
chaotically good.
Chaotically good, exactly. Thank you. So I feel like VL is chaotically good. You know, we have
But
certainly drama here and there, but
well, I just got a quick update from our racing director. It
mm-hmm.
seems like we're going to have 12 drivers on the grid.
12. Okay, who are we missing today? We're gonna
Um,
miss Williams boy.
we're as of now we're missing 3 of the Ferrari boys, including myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Glengon, Nawargon, and myself. From Mercedes, we're missing Impress and Carlos. And then, of course, at Red Bull, we're missing Dorman. And we're missing the whole Haas team.
The whole Haas team. Okay, interesting. Now I have to change one thing. Okay. So sorry guys. I'm currently trying to multi-manage, since usually, like I said at the beginning, Stillben does this, but I think it's fine so far. Everything works. Um, yeah, we talked about it earlier. When we were still not live, but I think you said something you're not feeling with this game. That's why you're not racing today. You wanna tell the audience about anything about that one, or prefer not to say
Um,
anything?
it's just been my game has been crashing a lot. Like during races, I would randomly have my game crash, and it just takes all the fun away. Having to rejoin after an AI with I think 40% pace has been driving your car is not fun. You just lose so
Mm,
much spaces and
all right.
yeah, it just takes a lot of the fun away. And I don't like the handling of the cars in the current game.
Yeah, it's I say it every year, but it's just so frustrating sometimes seeing a game you love and you just wanna enjoy being not really good. It's just sad. I don't know how you feel about this. I'm always getting angry every time the game just doesn't perform how it should, or the crashes and all that. You just want to play, right? And then it doesn't let you.
Yeah, yeah, that's I agree with that. Like, as my hours on the game has only been VLF1 races. I haven't done any racing outside of it just because I don't enjoy the game, and I'd rather spend my time on Assetto Corsa or a game like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fair. It's unfortunate, but it's fair. Let's hope this year's game is gonna be, or next year's game is gonna be better. I think 2023 is coming out in June. Not sure. Well, hopefully they will make it a little bit more interesting. For everybody that also doesn't know, we're still on the game 2021, as the game 2022 was even worse for us to play on. So if you're surprised by seeing the old cars out on here, don't be. We're still a little bit behind. We still enjoy the old cars here. Not sure if some of you guys been watching Real Life F1. Obviously, they have made huge changes to the cars. We still didn't implement that rule. Let's say it this way. We don't say it's the game's fault. We just say the rule hasn't applied for us yet, and that's why we're still using the old cars. We still have the same dominating faces. In this case, Sunny, and yeah, we will just have to wait and see how the next game will do. Maybe we'll move on as well. Given the fact that Q1 is gonna get skipped really, really soon, and given the fact that our racing director is giving us information on the weather, and you wanna take this away? On the
Seems like it's gonna be typical Spain weather, hot and blazing.
Lovely.
So it's a shame. I would have loved to see some rain because rain races are always fun. But let's see how long the tires will last.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about this as well before the stream started. The tires don't seem to last at all. I mean, you were a driver, I was a driver. That's one thing you don't wanna see, right? Having the tires not last, especially if you use a kind of aggressive setup. Uh, it's a little bit scary, isn't it?
It indeed is scary because with tires not lasting as long as you want them to, and with the racing being known for causing safety cars, um, yeah, it can really punish you by taking the pit stop at the wrong time.
Hmm.
So you wanna make your tires last, preferably till a safety car eventually happens, because it can cause you a lot of trouble if you just have pitted and then the safety car comes out. Just a loss of time at that point.
Just throws everything out there. What you want to try with the strategy or whatever you put in there, right? It's just frustrating. Speaking of which, I think you said something about a safety car. How many safety cars are we gonna see today? What do you think?
Seeing with seeing with the lower amount of drivers we have, I'm saying we're only gonna have one.
One safety car. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. VSC's included or without?
Without. Without.
Oh, okay. One full safety car. I'm gonna be bold. I think even while we only have 12 drivers, I think we're still gonna see at least one safety car and two virtual safety cars. All right. Uh, Interesting. Let's see what Credden thinks of that later on. Um, Interestingly enough, my game currently says we have 1/4 and 6th place instead of 1/3, second and third. So with that saying, I'm gonna try to fix my mess back here. I think you're gonna start running because the comms box is further down the way on the right or the left from your point of view. I don't know. And I'm gonna give it away to Creden and you. Have a great commentating. I'll see you guys after the race.
Okay, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, bienvenida al Circuito de Barcelona, Catalunya. We're in Spain. It's the birthplace of the novel Don Quixote, the restaurant Casa Botín in Madrid, the running of the bulls in Pamplona, and La Tomatina Festival. But let's be honest, most people here in VLF1 know it for Flyer and Trav's Keck W video. Those are the two pillars of Spain for us. We're going to be here at a solid track. We're going to be using the hardest tyre compounds, C1 to C3, lots of lateral force on a long track here. This track, Barcelona Catalunya, was used for circuit testing for many seasons. There's some real danger we're expecting in the opening dogleg, and there's the wide sweeping turn 9 with the potential for repeat Hodgsons. Lots to look forward to. My name's Cradden. I'll be taking you through the race, and you'll have heard his voice already. It is Envy alongside me. Envy, how's it going, man?
It's going great. Enjoying the weather here in Spain.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. It's
looking forward to what
really hot.
Qualify will bring us today.
Yeah, it's we are getting ready for qualifying. We do have to skip Q1, so we'll get those last two sessions in. So yeah, it's only just got warm here in the UK. It's the chance for us to prop up our suntans. How are you finding things? Are you expecting it to be are you expecting any rain today, or are you just going to get some sunbathing done in the commentary box?
I think we're gonna have to do some sunbathing. I brought myself a little inflatable pool, so if the race gets a bit boring, we can have a swim.
Nice, I like it. I've got some rubber ducks for the occasion. So Pyro,
Rubber ducks.
that's Pyro's challenge. So he's doing this production as you mentioned earlier. He's taken over the reins from Stillbend, or sometimes Trav stepped in, but Pyro's done a stand-up job so far. It's his challenge to get some rubber ducks on the screen. So we'll leave that one to him as he probably face palms in the background while we're commentating. There we go, beautifully done. It's going to be a fantastic race here. We're more than 2/3 of the way into our season. This is season 6. I've got the stats somewhere. I believe this is the 129th race overall. So it's absolutely crazy for me that this started with Trav just asking Bauer to have a few races on F1 2018, and here we are. How have you found your overall F1 experience in VL, both with driving and with now with commentating as well?
I feel like it's been good, even though I haven't been performing that well. My best race still comes from last season on this track.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, it was a P7. So
Okay.
yeah, I do enjoy this track. So
Yeah, P7's like a really good result, particularly in the more recently in VLF1. We've had a really strong field. We've got a really strong midfield. And yeah, being able to hang with, I actually pulled up the results just now. You managed to finish between the two Merc drivers, so between Sumther and Blaze.
was it
Yeah,
7?
it was, you were close with P7. You actually got P8 in the end, but it was on
Yeah.
penalties. So I think you were 7th across the line. Some driver, Calm, retired in that race. So you classified ahead of the greatest of all time in VLF1. So that's a nice little badge of honor you can get. You're obviously not racing today. Your project is being represented by only one driver, so it's just Franklin. How do you rate his chances today? Can he shake it up for top 5, top 10? Where do you think he's going to stand?
I have a feeling with how Franklin has been performing lately, I have a feeling he can squeeze in the top 5 if everything goes his way.
He definitely has been doing it recently. The time that I realized Franklin can pull it out of the bag was when he did like it was Impress's Nogga League at one point, and there was a race with lots of the top drivers. So Khan was in it, Flyer was in, Travis was in, all sorts of top drivers around Azerbaijan. And Franklin just dodged every incident. And even though he was the only driver to cross the line with everyone else crashing, that sort of level-headedness and being able to carry that through lots of different teams as a substitute, he really has the Glenn model of just being able to consistently drive and not really setting the world on fire with pace, but being able to consistently do well. And he's certainly done that in the second half of the season. P5, as you mentioned, aiming for the top 5. He scored 5th in Canada, 5th in Monaco. So anything like that will give him 10 points and really push his way into getting a top 8 position in the overall leaderboard. A good thing that will help Franklin as well is the fact that the two drivers above him are both affected by the super licenses from Monaco. So Maka actually has a race DQ to serve. He won't be here today. And Mancho, who is in the McLaren colours after switching from Red Bull, will start from the back after a super license penalty. So Mancho is kind of just doing this one for fun. So that's Franklin's choices covered. How are you feeling about the other guys in your project? So Noah and Glenn couldn't make it. Just tell us a bit, if you can, Envy, about how the team's feeling when you're all there. Have you found like a special synergy with Ferrari, or is it very much every man for himself in those calls?
In general, I feel like when the whole team's there, it's just good vibes and trying to help each other. Like, especially if someone is doing better than the other, like just basically team orders happening, but not really, as in like you're forced to do it, but you do it out of yourself to help your project members out. And
Yeah,
in
that's the
general,
one.
I think me and Nour have been lacking our attendance a bit due to various reasons, but hopefully towards the end of the season that will improve. But with Nour having exams, I'm not sure that's gonna change a lot for him.
It is that lightning in a bottle I think you two need to find, because you've both been here for quite a few races. You haven't had the best attendance, but you've been here for quite a lot of the season. It's just that you've not normally been at the races at the same time. So the first time you both scored points was in that Portimao Grand Prix. You getting 10th, now we're getting 8th. So yeah, anything where both of you can turn up and get points is great. I'm certainly expecting that a few more times in the last sort of 7 races. So yeah, good things in the future for Project Ferrari. Unfortunately, not this race. Just got the one guy here in Franklin, who is currently 4th on the board. For anyone who's just tuned in, this is Q2. We've skipped Q1 because we've only got 12 drivers in the paddock today. At the end of this Q2, the top 10 drivers will have their times locked. They will then shoot out in Q3 for pole position. So the battle here is to not be one of the bottom 2 drivers by classification. We're on board now with Shadow Hopper. Quick request to production. I know he's juggling a lot at the moment. Can we get the mini-map on the screen at all? I think that's an option we can put on in the UI. That'll be fantastic. It's one of those things where sometimes it will be clean on the stream where we don't have the map, but also it's really good to see where everyone is. And also we now get to see that all of the cars are represented by a blue color, from Merc down to Alpine, down to Red Bull, down to AlphaTauri. That it's just hard to tell them apart. But this is Shadow Hopper on a lap right now. Envy, I don't know if you're too familiar with the circuit. Can you take us through what Whopper's doing, or whether he's doing well or badly on this lap, please?
I'm having a hard time with this track because I haven't raced it as much. But let's see. All right, we got Shadow going down here to turn 7, which a lot of times causes spins on the inside curb. He takes it very well here. So let's see what he will bring this lap. It's a shame we don't have the Delta currently, but he seems to be doing a decent lap at least.
It's okay. We'll have to overload Pyro a bit more. Is there any chance we could get any of the telemetry on the screen as well? Yeah, we can then sort of see the sector times, and then that'd help for a bit of qualifying. We've got for anyone who doesn't know, Pyro has probably got about 5 workstations in front of him at the moment. He's used to putting together amazing videos, but he's doing the high octane job of VLF1 streaming at the moment. As Envy mentioned, he's trying to take a lot of the Shadow Hopper is taking a lot of the corners very well. One of the problems you'll have with Barcelona Catalunya is just going around those wide sweeping corners and angling yourself at the right position to take the next corner well. It's very much one corner leading into the next one. You've got to maintain the flow through the track, and I find that's most difficult immediately before turn 9, which is the big right-hander you'll see, and then as you go through sector 3 with the Mario Kart ramp. So yeah, a lot of difficult moments in this track. I think when it comes to the field going all together in a loop, we'll see the most of the difficulty in that turn 9 when drivers are trying to follow each other. If you're going too wide, drivers might have to take a tighter line, which you really can't do at full speed. So yeah, lots of difficulty there. With the drivers should be able to get some practice in now. For our top drivers, if you can get a respectable time like the Aston Martins already are, this essentially functions as practice. The real battle, as I've alluded to already, is going to be fighting to not be in that bottom 2. The bottom 2 will be eliminated at the end of Q2, which is 7 minutes and a final lap away. So Hodgson and Wilder, the 2 drivers without times on the board at the moment, will be fighting to make sure that they are above 10th, which is currently Mancho, on a fairly slow time of 1:23. So we're on board with Wilder at the moment. He's coming round towards Sector 2 at the moment. We get to see him slide into 4th gear, stick his car really well into turn 8. He comes towards the sweeping right-hander. Really high speed. You've got to maintain that speed. He has a little jink on the exit, but he does keep it fairly straight. Much more important to keep your car in one piece, even in qualifying. And he's going to go into Sector 3. That's a little bit of a spin there. And he is going to lose wing on the exit of that complex. That is turn 11 there. And Wilder is going to have to get out the way. Unfortunately, that is his lap messed up. He's going to have to go into the pits, repair his wing, and he's got time to try again. Good 6 minutes to go. All right. Envy, what else can we look at? Any other drivers that are taking your fancy?
Maybe have a look at Franklin, since he seems to be on the lap. Well, the last bit of the lap.
Cheers, Pyro. Yeah, we're all wondering how Stowen does it. He's got like 8 tentacles that he uses on his laptop. It's why his laptop gets so hot. But yeah, we are seeing Franklin come around. He is fighting to get into the top 3. He's got a really respectable time at the moment as the Ferrari representative. He didn't manage to improve just then, but he is going to keep giving it a go. 5 minutes left. One thing that I would like to get a look at, if you can get a chance in your busy schedule, Pyro, is to look at the tyres that everyone's on. So I think most people will be going for the mediums here, but there are some drivers on the softs. Most of the time, softs are faster than mediums, but they also don't last as long. That's also important because the tyres that you set your fastest lap in Q2, if you're in the top 10, they'll be the tyres that you start on in the race. And I don't know if you're seeing this as well, Envy. Most people are going for a medium hard one stop. Are you seeing the same?
Yeah, it seems like it. I'm just wondering what Sunny is going, or Sunny and Gaben are going to do right now, because have they set their fastest lap on the mediums, or are they actually trying to get their fastest lap on the softs?
Yeah, we're going to have a quick look. Can we get telemetry and lap data enabled as well, please? Pyro is an absolute magician right now. He has smurfed this.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got those timers on the top right, so we can start to see the deltas. We do get to see the soft tire run from Franklin. 1:18.2. The other one we missed in that short interlude there was Hodgson has come in with a really fast time. He's on the soft tyres, which are faster than the medium tyres around him in the timing stack. But he is in P3, so it's easily qualified for Q3. The disadvantage is he might be on a sub-optimal tyre at the start of the race, whereas the Aston Martins clearly feel confident enough to be able to start on the mediums because they can do a really fast time even on the slower tyre compound of the mediums. So really well done to the Aston Martins. They seem to have this Q2 locked up. We'll be back to them in Q3, but the important part of Q2 is the end here for these lower ranked drivers on the timing stack. Aquila is currently in P10. Mancho, who will start from the back anyway because of a super license penalty, isn't caring too much about his time. Franklin has retired, and it looks like it's an on-track retirement as well. It looks like Turn 9 has claimed another victim. Yeah, he is going to be locked out there. Yeah, awkward. We're on board with Blaze, so let's see if we can get a look at Franklin's car. We can't, it's already despawned. So yeah, Envy, have you ever had any incidents with Turn 9 on this one? It seems to be getting everyone.
Turn 9?
The big right-hander.
No, not necessarily. I used to struggle with 7 and 8. With taking too much curb on the inside of 7. And the rear of your car getting loose, but never really with Turn 9. But coming back to the tires you were talking about, I feel like qualifying on the softs here is ruining your chances of doing a one-stop. And one-stop seems to be the optimal strategy on this track, so I think starting on softs is probably the worst thing you can do on this track. With most people looking to run medium hards, I assume.
Yeah, so, it's going to be tricky to balance those tire loads. Looks like people are going for the medium hards. How do you, when you've been racing in the past and you've gone on hard tires, what are the sort of risks you have to weigh up? Is it harder to drive around the track? Do you end up with the slower times, or do you have to approach it differently?
You definitely have to approach it differently. I feel like the tires take a bit longer to warm up. And as well, that you don't have a lot of grip when your car's heavy. So what I like to do, if I have to go to the hards, is at least start on a softer compound. And then get to the hards when my car is a bit lighter. That way, going into the corners, your car brings a little bit less weight. So the car is a bit easier to handle coming out of the turns and into the turns.
Yeah, it's fuel loads and tyre compounds are going to be two things that our drivers are keenly considering as they look at their strategy. 50% is the race distance we're doing, so the races are going to take about 45-50 minutes. They are half the length of a real-life Formula 1 race. As we've had longer races, including the 100% Grand Prix of the Americas this season in round 12, drivers have had to consider more and more the effect of fuel load, because even though the tyres will get more worn towards the end of the race and with a slower compound, you'll be going more quickly because of track evolution, and you'll be going faster with a lower weight, a lighter fuel load in the car at the end of the race. So a lot of these technical variables will be in these drivers' heads as they go around the track. The people who've been around VLF1 have been around the block a few times, can sort of calculate these well. I think of Travis as the example for this one, as he sort of goes like a robotic machine around the track. But yeah, on top of that, you do have to drive the track. You have to make sure you've got the car in one piece. Wilder coming through with a 1:18.2 is going to get him into the top 10. I'm going to go straight to the outcomes of standings here as we go towards our final 10 seconds. Both McLarens, Aquila and Mancho, are in the bottom 2 right now, so they are set to be eliminated. Not too bad for Mancho. Super license penalty means he starts from the back. But Aquila, while he's close to the drivers in front of him, he still needs to find 2/10 to overtake Shadow Hopper. So let's see if we can get a look at Aquila. He's on 2-lap-old softs. I think that's him in the middle sector now, coming round towards turn 9. Let's see how he takes it. That was pretty clean from Aquila. He kept that in gear 6, gear 7, using all of his ERS battery at the moment, making sure the DRS is activated, lights up the sector in purple. He's on the faster tyre compound here, the soft tyres. He wants to get everything into speed here. He doesn't really care too much about strategy. He just needs to get into the top 10 to avoid that elimination, to get a McLaren into the top 10 towards Q3. Those last few corners, really easy to mess up. He's got a really smooth line here. Let's see if he comes around with a good speed coming up to the finish line. And it looks like it's enough. Shadowhopper is brought down into the bottom 2. Envy, can you tell us how he's getting on?
All right, let's see where Shadow is currently on the track. He is coming up. He is coming up to turn 14 and 15. Let's see. He takes him quite smooth. Going up to the start finish here. Let's see what he gets. He takes it right back, and Aquila is out of the session.
Oh man, you hate to see it. Aquila was doing really well. He got himself deservedly into the top 10. And then Shadowhopper just came around and took his dreams away with a really nice finish on those soft tyres. It really underlines the tyre strategy battle, to be honest, because you can go for the faster lap and get into that top 10. But then that's at the risk of strategy in the race. You said it so well earlier, Envy, when you said that maybe qualifying on softs isn't the one. It is a bit of a gambit. Aquila and Shadowhopper both tried to sacrifice their race strategy in order to get themselves a really good position into Q3. So it did work for Shadowhopper in the end, with no more classified laps to be done in Q2. That does lock everything into place. So we put a big F in chat for Capyrofire, as both his McLaren representatives, the regular Mancho and the substitute Aquila, are going to be knocked out at Q2. So it's going to be an orange-free zone in Q3. The 10 remaining drivers will be shooting out for that fastest lap. Requested production, could we just get the classification on screen? This is just for like admin and screenshots later. I know the I'm just going to annoy Capyrofire at any possible time during this broadcast.
So quickly coming back here to the tires then. I do think Aquila should be happy that he didn't qualify in 10th, because he was on 3 laps old softs, and going into the race on those, you really wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, like the tires are the hardest tires possible. One moment, as we do now have those images on the screen. Fantastic. Pyro is hard smurfing. There are so many cars in blue. He is in blue as well. But Envy, returning to your point, you're absolutely right. Qualifying on the softs, they have the 8-lap tyre life that you mentioned. They are going to fade away very quickly. For anyone who isn't familiar, when tyres degrade, the surface of the rubber is burned away by the forces that are put on them by the car. As the tyre gets thinner and thinner, as more degradation happens, it's really, really hard. You lose traction. It's more difficult to drive. And the lap times do tend to follow a cliff pattern. So the lap times get gradually slower, and then when you hit the cliff, which is about 60 to 70% degradation on the tyres, then the times get dramatically slower. You have to pit or you're going to get future. You're not going to get future. Get really slow times. The point that you're making, of course, is that if you're on the soft tyres, you'll have to pit almost immediately. You might have to do a 2-stop strategy. So yeah, that's a real nice way up in Q2. We're starting in Q3 now. We've got a 12-minute shootout. We're getting all of our drivers back out. This is for pole position. Envy, any predictions for the session? Anyone who you think is going to do well, badly? Anyone who you think we should watch for the first few laps?
Who I think is gonna do great here will most likely be Sunny, but I think the battle for the front row will be, the second position on the front row I think is going to be between Gabe and Sonta. So I think that's going to be a great battle to watch during this qualifying. But we can also not count out the battle for the second row, which is wide open for anyone to take, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot of really solid names. I think the field is almost completely blue cars. That might be the first time that's happened. That's we've got the 2 Red Bulls, 1 Alpha Tauri, 2 Aston Martins, 2 Mercs, and 1 other that I'm forgetting right now. But yeah, there's all sorts of blue with a bit of turquoise thrown in. It'll be hard to tell them apart, so let's just see what names pop up. Yeah, Pyro with a great shout there. There's only 9 drivers. I have a master's degree in mathematics and I can't count to 10, so just going to confirm that on stream. We are seeing 9 cars because Franklin did finish in the top 10 in Q2, but because his car was inflicted with terminal damage, he can't continue to Q3, so we will be locked into 10th on the grid. So yeah, anyone who can count all the digits, then there we go. 9 drivers. I agree with you, Envy. We're going to have Sunny as their odds-on favourite. Gaben's been doing really well in qualifying recently. We just have to ignore that Merc that's sideways. F for Brandon. And Gaben Somther battling for second. I often see Miffy do really well in qualifying. He's He's become quite a driver as the races have gone on. He is in that senior Red Bull seat, and we saw from Season 5 Monaco that Miffy in a senior Red Bull has mystical powers that could win him a race. I'd like to see how this one unfolds. This is the banker lap. So we're watching Gaben right now. Let's take a look at what he's doing. He's going round on turn 9. Lot of apex and a lot of running off at the exit, but to be honest, you kind of have to do that if you're going to get the optimal line, maximum speed. Coming up to the Mario Kart ramp, doesn't bounce into the air, and goes all the way to the right. We've actually got a retirement on track. Envy, can you give us some info?
Seems like we got Shadow retiring in, well, at turn 7, as I said, it would be a pretty dangerous corner. What I would assume, looking at his position on the on our track map, is that he hit the curb on the inside and ended up going off into the inside wall. These are just assumptions, but that's the only explanation I could come up with. In the meantime, I'll see if I can get some information from our pit lane reporters on that.
Yeah, boy, we might have Rock Kravitz later on, but still to be confirmed. One thing that I like to look at is the sweatboard, which is the list of dry time trial times. That is currently being led by Sunny with a time of 1:15.572. So, yeah, with Sunny getting a low time in the low 1:16s, he's not quite at his time trial time, but you wouldn't expect to be. Time trial is perfect conditions. You can be in the zone. You can do tens to hundreds of laps, whereas this is almost a one-off, two-off if you include banker laps, run under pressure, with tyre degradation, with a call, with other drivers. So you almost never match your time trial time unless you're Gaben in Mexico. But Sunny's got a really solid time on the board. He's more than 1.5 seconds clear of the nearest combatant at the moment in Monty. But not so many successful outlaps. Obviously, Shadowhopper retired. We've got a couple yellow flags already on the board, as we basically see a bunch of blue on the mini-map. It was Monty going a bit slowly towards turn 10. And yeah, it's very difficult if you can't get the banker lap out to keep your mental as you go into the final Q3 lap, because you've got the adrenaline going, you know that this is your one chance. There's almost a few cards that have fallen your way. There's only 12 drivers in total, so you've got more chances to score points. You've had the retirement of Franklin already, the retirement of Shadowhopper, so really it's a shootout between 8 drivers. Even if you perform your worst, it's P8, but even for Wilder, who maybe isn't accustomed to qualifying this high, he's really got a chance to put a high position down in qualifying, so it's good for Wilder. He's got the banker lap down. Someone like Blaze, who's looking for a really high position, he's got a lot more pressure on his shoulders because halfway through the session, 6 minutes into 12, he still hasn't set a lap time. So I think we're going to get on board with him now. He's taking it quite smoothly around those opening couple of corners. Yeah, a lot of expectation on other drivers. Blaze has got rid of a point drought recently. He scored points for the first time in 15 races. So he's looking to get a streak going. Let's see how he does this lap. Envy, any news from the pit lane?
Yeah, I got some news from the pit lane indeed. The incident with Shadowhopper was indeed as I expected it to be, hitting the curb on the inside on turn 7, and he lost the rear of the car and spun into the wall.
Oh man, you hate to see it. It's Shadow and Monty are like a really strong team as well. The problem is they also retire quite a lot. Shadow will be buoyed by the fact that he can get his car back for the start of the race. He is in P9. He did make it to this session, so he's not going to be at the absolute back. He's got Franklin, the 2 McLaren cars, and any latecomers behind him. So yeah, Shadow's in an alright position. He's got time to have a break, reset his mental. Blaze is coming around here. Let's see if it's any sort of competitive time. It's a 1:18.0, which is pretty good. It beats Wilder's earlier time. Gets him into P5, which is a position that Blaze normally doesn't fight for. It's a nice overreach from him, but I think he can look higher. There's a good chance he can battle with Monty here, and Hodgson isn't an unachievable amount ahead of him. Hodge has famously had his issues on this track. If you ask Travis, he'll send you a really nice meme video based on Flyer and the KEKW guy. Rep Las Recetas, he was a good guy, unfortunately passed away, taken too soon from us. But Hodgson is still here, and Hodgson is still struggling on Spain without the S. He is 4/10 off of Miffy and 1 light year away from Sunny, and the facing Brock in the Peter City gym. Hodge has got a lot to do, but to P3, I'm going hard on him. He's in a really good position overall. P3 is nice for consolidating. With not many drivers, he's got a good chance at points here. Okay, let's see what Somther's getting up to. He's a bit adrift at the moment. Envy, how do you rate Somther's chances? Do you think he's still going to be battling for that front row?
I think Somta can definitely battle for front row as long as he keeps the car on track, which I feel fairly comfortable with that he can do that. So let's see. I think Sunny might be out of reach for him, but he can definitely go after that P2 on the grid.
Yeah, boy. He's really shown a lot in these qualifying sessions. Somther has just kept getting better and better every season. Somther is P4 in the Drivers' Championship. It's going to be a big ask for him to catch Gaben because Gaben has been on the form of his life, 4 podiums in 4 races, 2 wins in 4 races. But with Zydox sort of falling off and not really being able to attend as many races, Somther might have lost a fight to Gaben, but might be winning a fight with Zydox overall. There's a 30-point gap. Zydox isn't here. Somther has to view this as a free hit in the race to catch up to Zydox. He's a good 37 points clear of Hodgson behind him. So Somther is only looking onwards and upwards. Let's see if that actually happens in this qualifying session, though. He's coming towards the finish line, and there it is, 116 point. I think that's an 8, 116.8. He's clear of Miffy,
No,
clear of Hodge.
6. That's at 6.
Oh, resolution moment.
So that's a great lap coming out of Somta here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's almost comparable to Sunny, which is where you want to be. The thing I'm surprised at is Gaben hasn't put a lap on the board yet, and Gaben is, as you said at the start of the session, Envy, Gaben is the guy who would be competing with Somther for that second position. So, yeah, Gaben has it all to play for. Go on.
Just going back to the championship standings real quick, I feel like Somta can still fight for that second place. His gap to Gaben is only 1 point. So all Gaben has to technically do is not finish one race, and all of a sudden Somta will have a massive lead if Somta finishes P2.
And yeah, the signs for Somther are good if you look back to the American leg for Gaben. While Gaben's had really good form of late, Gaben had 2 retirements in the 100% America's Grand Prix, and then the next race in Mexico, where he sort of messed up a tire switch and then went into the pit lane. So maybe Somther has a bit more of the soft skills, the planning, the logistics, and certainly has the power to get podiums on the track. Somther's been able to get where he is based on consistency, but I find this hilarious at this stage because he's 4th in the championship. Somther still hasn't won a race. He's raced in like nearly 100... Sorry, I'm going to interrupt that. Wilder has retired from the session. We'll talk more about Somther's winless status later. It looks like that might even be a Pyro special. Has he gone in the pit lane? That would be a fun one.
It looks like it.
Let's take a look. I can certainly see his dot there. But we'll... Yeah, well,
could have honestly happened coming out of turn 16 and losing it, but I feel like that's a rare occasion for that to happen.
Yeah, I guess you could get understeer on turn 16, as you say. You could career into the far barrier. Oversteer seems a bit weird. I've certainly had issues with getting the right traction, but a total retirement seems a bit weird. The Pyro special, of course, being crashing into the pit lane wall, but I don't see that happening, especially not when going for a fast lap. Speaking of, this is the final minute of Q3, so we're seeing Gaben go around the circuit. He still has not set a valid time, and he is a guy who we normally expect to be fighting for P2. This is the Aston Martin season of dominance in the Constructors' Championship. He is following up his boy Sonny in that championship, and he is fighting in the Drivers' Championship, as we've just mentioned, with Somther just getting an overall lead, looking for an easy P2. Has he, however, bottled this qualifying, though? Next couple of seconds will tell us. There's the Mario Kart ramp. Keeps it really clean going around this right-hander. That's a solid turn 12 there. He's got to get the apexes in these next few corners. It's a lower speed section. That looks really good. He kept that controlled, and he's got the right amount of runoff area. He avoids going into the pit lane and comes up to the finish line. Will it be good enough? Let's find out. It's P3. He has not beaten Somther. So Somther has won that battle that you've alluded to. And Sonny is going to be unable to do any more laps, but does manage to get a massive improvement there. Fantastic time from Sonny. I don't think anyone else will be able to beat him, but we are going to see if anyone can.
All right, we have Miffy coming here up to the last few corners. Let's see how he gets up to the finish. Unfortunately, I don't have his current delta, but The last sector definitely looked good from him.
Yeah, really good finish
He
there from
sticks it
Miffy.
in third. That's
Ahead
hurting
of
Gaben
Gaben,
even
yeah.
more.
Gaben is currently, P4. He's on the circuit right now. He's coming towards the end of Sector 2, but before that, we've got Monty coming towards the end. That is a
And there
spin
goes-
from Hodgson, and is Gaben going to be in the way? Gaben is going to be able to smoothly get past. Monty coming towards the line is going to go into the pits, isn't going to be able to improve here. This is Gaben and Hodgson's show, and it sure as heck isn't Hodgson's. Gaben, the only guy who can improve now. Hodgson locked in 5th. Monty and Blaze locked in 6th and 7th. Wilder with the retirement. Can Gaben improve on his previous time? Can this be the second consecutive time set in a row? Can he improve? And he can. That's a massive time. He not only beats Miffy, but he goes ahead of Somther. 116.5 clear of Somther's 116.6. I spoke too soon. It is Aston Martin's show after all in qualifying. Sonny was way clear of the competition. He was Verstappening this one, but he looks like Perez has joined the fray. Gaben is there 116.5, and that is a great constructor domination of the session. Great front row for Aston Martin. How'd you find that one, Envy?
It was an insane last lap by Gaben here. I didn't expect him to jump up those 2 positions after seeing him only do the 1 lap previously, and that being quite far out. But I'm fairly surprised by him putting that lap together. Same goes for Blaze in P7. I'm wondering if he can keep it on track during the race.
Yeah, Blaze has had a couple issues with this track. I don't think it's one of his favourites. But yeah, the fact that he's so close to Monty and Hodgson, who are quite quick at this track, is a really encouraging sign from him. I know with Blaze's personal circumstances, he's moved in real life and he's unable to bring Rig Astley, which is the name he gives to his wheel. He can't bring Rig Astley to the 4 today, so he's going to improvise. But if this is improvisation, it looks pretty good so far. He's setting respectable times. It was let's be honest, it was one of the easier Q3s to get into with only 12 drivers, but he got there. He didn't retire like Franklin or Whopper. Didn't retire like Wilder towards the middle of that session. Looked fairly controlled, and while he didn't have the pace of the faster drivers, who does? Sonny, Gaben, and Somther have been pretty uncontested. Blaze is set up at least for looking at points, which would be a great success for him. We'll just see if the greed gets the better of him as he gets towards the end of the race and is maybe in like a P7, P8. Blaze has always been fantastic at sort of the planning side of the game, knowing the tyre strategies, planning for fuel loads. I know Blaze often underfuels his car in anticipation of a safety car. And Envy, I'm going to ask you the same question on safety cars. I think there's going to be at least one because we've had one every race. How many are we going to see today? How many safety cars?
As earlier in the pre-race show, Copy asked me the same question, and I said I was going to expect 1 safety car, and the rest will be virtual safety cars. But I'm not expecting more than 2 total, 1 real safety car and a virtual.
Yeah, it's very easy to get the virtual safety cars because it's a fairly wide track with lots of runoff. It's very hard to get a situation where the car is totaled and then is staying on the track. So the game is less keen to award full safety cars. But this is VLF1 we're talking about, so we are going to see one. It's happened for all 17 races so far this season, so we're going to see number 18 here. It's guaranteed. Nothing can change that possibly from the fates. I'm actually laughing at the moment because I'm seeing Discord in my side eye on my secondary monitor. Basically there's a second lobby being made because let's just say the unranked lobby took some liberties with the positions of drivers going from qualifying into the race. Sonny was in P11. Gaben got moved up to pole. I think someone basically put a giant 10 grid penalty on Sonny without him realizing it. So yeah, we'll get those reformatted for you guys. But yeah, Sonny is going to be pole. We are going to make sure he gets in the right position. He did earn it. 116.2 was his final time. Gaben got 116.5. The only other guy to run him close, 2 guys actually, was Somther and Miffy, 116.6 and 116.7 respectively. There was then a real gap, so those top 4 drivers were within half a second of each other. The next 4 drivers were Hodgson, Monty, Blaze, and Wilder. They're also within half a second, but there is then a big 1 second gulf between those 2 groups of 4 drivers. So I think we are going to see like different small contests between groups of drivers, but we are going to see a big class gulf between the drivers at the front and the drivers more in midfield. So yeah, we'll get the remake through. We'll get the drivers in the right positions, and the unknown quantities that I'm going to ask you about, Envy, are the drivers that have retired pretty quickly. So Whopper, Franklin, Aquila didn't quite get the lap through, and of course Mancho didn't really set a competitive time. Are you expecting anything crazy from any of those drivers in the race?
I feel like from Mancho, I'm expecting some crazy things. Knowing Mancho, I think we can compare him to one of the early years of Max Verstappen, being really aggressive and sometimes a bit reckless. So I think we can see some interesting moves from Mancho, definitely. From Aquila, I can't really say. I don't know him too well myself. And as I said, I predicted Franklin on the pre-race show. Actually, I think that was with you that I predicted Franklin to be top 5. So everything's still open out there, and a lot can happen.
Yeah, definitely your call on that one, but I wouldn't put it past you. Franklin's got P5. Let's count him 1, 2, 3 times this season. He's become quite a point scoring machine. Hodgson, on the other hand, he fell off, as a certain friend of mine would say repeatedly and call Hi Pushka. Hodgson has scored points 16 times in a row. So from Austria round 1 until Canada round 16, round 15, my mistake, 15 times in a row. He scored points. He was in every position from P1 down to P9 and has just been a reliable point scoring machine. Come any weather, come any incidents, Hodge was getting points guaranteed. It was a sure thing. You could bet your house on it. Until the last 2 races, as soon as he's come back to Europe, Hodge must have like a weird fear of mainland Europe because he's gone into Portugal and retired and then gone into Monaco and retired. It's going to be a long stint for Hodgson around mainland Europe if he's going to keep up his retirement habit, because he's gone from the most surefire point scorer on the grid to a guaranteed liability. And with Spain coming up, I don't see it getting any better for him. He's got a lot of challenges on this track. He's had a bad time in the past. If you haven't seen the Travis clip where Hodge bins it behind him and Travis starts squeaking like a weird goblin, then go check it out. It's beautiful. Yeah, Hodge has got some redemption to do. Realistically, I don't see him aiming for like podium positions, but a return to reliable point scoring is what we want. And I think that's what most of our drivers will be going for today, because with only 12 drivers on the board, it's almost a guarantee that if you finish, you'll get points. So drivers will be taking it a bit more conservatively. No one's going to be going for the soft tires unless they qualified on them. So most drivers will be going for the long life tires, the mediums, the hards. The optimal strat is 1 medium, 1 hard, and then are just for safety cars. So I'm expecting a more chill race, but as you said, Mancho could be a real wild card. I want to see if drivers can recover from the issues around turn 9, turn 7, as you said, and just sort of get back on track if they have any penalties, and definitely not do the Tezzy reset to track special that we saw back in season 3. Any other weird predictions, Envy? We've gone through like safety cars. We've gone through Franklin, with being the only representative of Ferrari. Have you gone through a complete podium yet? Are we going to see Sonny, Gabe, and Somther? That's probably my shout. Are you going to change the order there or throw anyone else in?
I will have a spicy take on the podium. I think the podium will be the same as yours, but I think one of these 3 drivers will be out of the race, so someone else will be added into there. I'm not really sure about who and who's going to crash out, but I have a feeling with how close the racing has been, especially between Sonny and Gaben, that one of those 2 drivers might not finish the race.
Yeah, I think the real worry for anyone who's a Gaben enjoyer is seeing how long it took him to put a time down in that Q3. He had 12 minutes to do it, and until those final 2 laps where he smurfed it, he was really struggling to put a time down. He was getting invalid. So even if he can stay within the limits, it means he's at risk of getting all sorts of time extension penalties, corner cutting penalties. And then the worst case is that he has a few unreliable corners and then careers off. So yeah, that's the case for Gaben crashing. Somfer has been more reliable in getting around the circuit, but then you look at his last two finishes, which are P12 in Portugal and P8 in Monaco. So Somfer and Hodge really high-fiving each other. It's the handshake meme. So I can see both of them going. Sonny has had really good form of late. He's in championship form. He's had a couple of free hits at extending past Zydox. He's had comparable points with Gaben recently. And when your closest competitor is on the same team and you're in call with them, you've got really good chances, so you can control the race a lot more. So I think we might actually have the grid. Let's see if we can do it.
And with us being on the grid right now, Dan, I have an interesting question for you as well.
Hit me.
How do you feel about Shadowhopper this race? Is he gonna make it to the end, or are we gonna see one of the usual Shadowhoppers and see him somewhere in a wall?
Great question. I do have a bit of faith in my boy Shadowhopper, but it was shaken a bit in qualifying. He's had 2 retirements in the last 5 races, but also he scored P4 in Canada, P5 in Portugal. I think this might be a good time for Shadowhopper, to be honest. I'm going to have faith in my boy. I don't see him scoring highly, like he has recently, or like he has historically in street circuits. I'm going to say like a fairly standard P8, P9 for Whopper, but I don't see him retiring, which is the key one.
Yeah,
That's
and
be a really good one.
And in his defense, with the last 2 retirements out of the last 5 races, one of the retirements was pretty much out of his control. Was an unfortunate accident.
Yeah,
So,
well said. Like we've seen we've all seen the clips. Some people have thrown personal abuse down. Ban list was updated. I'll say no more. In any case, we've got a starting grid available. Pyro has smurfed on multiple fronts. Let's go for it. So this is the first row. If NV take the next row after this, this is Sonny and Gaben. This is the Aston Martin show. This is the expected result, and they'll be starting in 1 and 2 today.
here on the second row, we have Sumta and Miffy in the Mercedes and the AlphaTauri. It's definitely interesting what we'll see from here.
Yeah, Hodge looking to erase some pain in Spain. And he's going to be in the third row alongside Monty, who is overreaching and looking for some points.
Then we have Blaze as a surprise out there, with next to him Wilder. Wilder been doing solid, getting his top 10s in. So let's see what the race will bring for those 2 boys.
And now we welcome Retirement Central. Please welcome Shadowhopper and Franklin. Shadowhopper retired in Q3. Franklin retired in Q2 after getting a pretty respectable time. Let's see if they can recover their mentals in time for the race.
And then here we got the Orange Army together, Aquila and Muncho. Let's see how far up the grid they can get during the race.
Yeah, boy. Cheers, Pyro, for that grid shout. He's learned well from my boy Stillbend. I fear what the 2 of them could accomplish in a room together with the sheer amount of computing power and different slides and effects. Where we might even have the Discord soundboard involved, but maybe that's one for later if we see a Hodgson incident. We've got the classic wait at the moment, but the guys have managed to remake the lobby. To confirm, we had an incident earlier where the grid order was shaken up randomly from Q3 into the race. It looked like Sonny was given a random penalty, and most of the drivers were kind of happy with that, but in the interest of fairness, we did remake it. We've got Sonny and Gaben at the start, everyone else in the grid, as we just saw from the great slideshow. And yeah, everyone's making their final adjustments to settings. Envy is someone who's driven more recently than me. How do you feel when you get to sort of this stage? You're doing your final setups, you're doing your tire strategy, fuel load, changing your setups. Is there a lot of conversation between you and the Ferrari team, or is it almost break time?
During this time, I feel like it's mostly like everyone screaming about fuel, like everyone trying to figure out the right decision, like trying to make predictions on safety cars, because safety cars are a big factor in your fuel.
Yes, safety cars are really important because when they're out, you won't be driving as much. Fuel, you can get away with less fuel, definitely. Yeah, how about the car setups? When it comes to doing the setups, most of it is already locked from qualifying anyway. Do you ever change the wings at the last moment or use the in-game menu during the race?
Yeah, sometimes during the race, if I feel like I'm not having enough downforce or anything like that, or if I feel like I'm understeering, I change up the front wing a little bit. But I tend to do it not as much because a lot of times I haven't driven with the changes, so I don't know what the car's gonna do. So you only want to do it like 1-2 clicks at most, and nothing more, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, the real issues for me tend to be when you get the wet weather coming in, and you often have to do a few changes, change your differential, change your front wing, and also change your tire, and then also change your mentality. So I hope we'll be seeing none of that today. Actually, that's a lie. I really hope we see random rain and everyone having to change in the middle of the race. But it's not the expected result. The forecast is dry, hot and dry in Spain. It's getting towards the summer. So most of the drivers, most of the situations, we won't have to worry about wet weather. It will just be a battle of pace, technical procedures around the track, and doing the expected tyre strategies, most of which are dictated by the qualifying tyre, soft or medium, and by either a one-stop or two-stop strategy. If you qualify on the mediums, it's probably medium-hard. If you qualify on the softs, it's probably two-stop, soft, medium, medium. I think the Travis call, which is what I'm going to describe as a call that involves taking your tyres and racing them for 9 million laps. The Travis call is soft hards. So anyone who started on softs, hope for a safety car early on, switch to hard tyres and try and run out the rest of the race. It's a really crazy strategy, but that's what Travis did sometimes, and it worked really well. Monty is a purveyor of it as well. He did the zero-stop wet Silverstone on the intermediate tyres. So yeah, a lot of potential crazy strats. I think it's going to be by the book. And for that reason, I think it's going to be fairly by the book at the front as well. Aston Martin doing really well in qualifying. They obviously got their front two, did really well in terms of time. Sonny had a delta on Gaben for pretty much all of qualifying. There was a 1 to 1.5 second difference between them. I don't think that was reflected in the sweatboard, because if you look at the sweatboard, they've got very similar times. Sonny at 1:15.5, Gaben at 1:15.6. So looking at that in isolation, you'd expect the two drivers to be very similar in terms of pedigree and being able to smash out laps. But definitely in the real life test, Sonny was getting quite an edge on Gaben. So maybe Sonny is preparing a bit more for the qualifying because he realizes that Gaben is going to catch up to him in the Drivers' Championship otherwise. Or maybe Sonny's just doing 700 laps with his dumbbells in his car because that's the kind of crazy monster he is. So yeah, a lot of potential for good times. Pace should dictate most of this race. The things that will disrupt Sonny are safety cars or incidents. We are, I believe we're going to have another remake. I don't know if that comes with an associated penalty. That it looks like one of our drivers has had a problem with connection, so has left. We're not quite back to the dark days of season 2 or season 3 here in VLF1, where we had to have 2 or 3 remakes. Pyro is laughing right now because he knows what was up. We had to have a few remakes where every time someone left early or there was an issue with connection, we had to penalize the guy who remade and then redo the grid and then get everyone in the same call. We're not quite there. But yeah, PTSD coming in. The driver that was affected was Mancho, so it looked like he had a tech issue on his side. Pyro was already pointing out on my ear that he has already lost, so he can't be given another grid penalty. He's just going to get a lot of tutting at him from Blaze and Samtha, I'm sure. But we hope to be bringing you a race. We did promise you a 50% race. This is the third one in the final leg of Europe. If you look at the tracks that we've got ahead of us, we've got, 7 more circuits. We've got Hungary, France, and Italy in the next 3. Italy being the Monza circuit rather than the Emilia-Romagna one. And then the final 4 races are going to be ones that we kind of like as races to set up for a showdown. So it's Belgium, Spa-Francorchamps, Emilia-Romagna, then Silverstone in Britain, and then finally Zandvoort in the Netherlands to close things out. So a really good set of circuits. If you ask most people, Monaco, Spain, and Portugal aren't the European tracks that they'd want to race on. So we put those at the start of the European leg. We wanted to get those out of the way. So yeah, another remake on the cards. Envy with a few more tracks coming up. Are there any? What's your favorite European track to drive on? Most people, I think, will say Silverstone or Spa.
I'd say Spa. I'm not a big fan of Silverstone myself. Maggots and Beckett's don't really like me, and I don't like them.
Feelings mutual. Yeah, it's I always end up going into the corner either really scared of the driver that's immediately behind me, or messing up one corner and leading to a chain reaction and just losing a second on the driver in front. Then again, if you look back at my history in Silverstone, I have bigger problems, and it leads to a pit wall with a certain Danish driver. Ask for the clip; it's beautiful.
Now I'm very interested who that certain Danish driver is.
Pyro might know him well as a former teammate, but I love him. It's law. He
Yeah.
didn't see me at one point, dooted me into the pit wall. It was an instant retirement, and I think it's the only thing that compares with it in the Silverstone pit lane is when Blaze had an issue. The pit limiter failed on him. He went into the pit lane like 1 mile an hour too fast. And then he had a great moment where on his webcam, he smashed the table directly in front of him. You can actually see the camera shake because the webcam's on top of the whole structure connected to his table. So when he smashes the table, and you can play it in slow motion, and you get a real dramatic Hell's Kitchen replay style camera shake. So it's a pivotal moment in cinematic history. Edgar Wright could learn from it. We're already thinking of putting it in a montage, but oh my god.
Well, and now we're talking about Silverstone. I have some great memories in that track, not necessarily from F1 cars, but just the other week we had a little friendly race on there with Brandon, Travis, Inequitas, and at some point we're going. I think we came like 3 wide out of Stowe.
Yeah.
And then going into the Phil chicane, Brandon just sent it into Inequitas like he wasn't even trying to make the turn.
It's like the PayPal payment arrived in real time, and you could see Brandon's eyes turn red, and he just goes, "It's over for you." And then all the Ace Combat music starts because of the Alpha Max Nova edits that we've all seen. Oh my god, you can tell we're stalling. This is like the third remake we've had today. This is normally we would have a Q1 session, so it's not like we're overrunning hard, but we'd normally have an extra Q1 session, and then we'd be almost straight into racing. I'm hoping to all of the saints in the basilicas in Spain that we can finally get this show on the road. I'm told that we do finally have Mancho in the building, and that he's actually picked a setup this time. God bless. Yeah, 90, 50, 10 predictions, which we've done in the past for free shows. The 50 is just the game working at any one time. I'm pretty sure I just saw Mancho DC on the picture and well. So it's Somthor has just posted a GIF that is legendary. I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'm already in helium mode. The laughing gas is on. It's a comedy of errors. Shakespeare himself has traveled down to Spain. Don Quixote is here, and we're just not even Hodgson could have done something as bad as this. Not even Hodgson in China, whose win it definitely was till his power went out. Mancho's internet appears to be bugging. We're waiting for confirmation, but it's likely we will just start with 11 drivers. While it sucks for our time, our precious time as viewers and commentators, it is a massive boon for those drivers that are really looking for points. Drivers further down the field, like Blaze, like Monty, like Wilder, they haven't had too many points recently. Wilder has got 1 point scoring race in his last 4 with a P7 in Portimao. Monty hasn't scored points for the last 3 races and has only scored P10 in the 3 before that. And then Blaze, I mentioned earlier, he's recently ended a points drought. He was without points between rounds 3 and 16. So a 14 race long stint without points. He only got P10 in Monaco. So with only 11 drivers, if Mancho is going to drop, we're going to have all sorts of potential for points. Or everyone takes everyone out and we end up with just 3 drivers on a podium. I would love that if that happened. Envy, how are you feeling about not racing? Do you want to hop in? Okay, no worries. It's probably to the Ferrari garage, if I'm honest. He's trying to get Glenn to put him in as a last moment roster lock. But yeah, understandable. We're just waiting to see what's happening with the game at the moment. It's less the game. We've given Cody's its fair share of slander in these trying times in our 129 races in Formula One. However, this is less Cody's and more one driver's connection. Maybe it is Cody's. We'll find a way to spin it around onto them. At this rate, we will have Travis come back. At this rate, Las Rositas will come back and drive for the race. This is how long we have waited. We have We normally talk about in English football about years of hurt, but since the last World Cup win, this is minutes of hurt since we got from qualifying to the start of the race. The Spanish do communion at the end of mass. It turns out we do racing at the very end of the 5-hour-long stream tonight. We're still waiting for players. We're set to have 11 players. I believe Mancho will be departing from our presence tonight. The F1 Drivers Lounge Discord is awash with messages, and we're we're having captains argue the toss. This is a cluster. It's like the audio and text representation of the video clip we use for the F1 intro, where Hodge joins a 1v1 against Somther in League of Legends and just stands there with all sorts going around him. It's the meme with the building on fire. And yeah, I think Mancho is just going to jack this one in. I think it's partly because of technical issues, but partly he's being the gentleman, and he's saying, I don't want to affect the lobby with any more issues. I'd like to get everything back on track. And yeah, I'd like to just have everyone racing. I don't want to hold you guys up anymore. So yeah, we'll keep things we'll keep things cool. Yeah, that's actually a shout from Pyro. So Pyro notes that because it's an unranked lobby and we had Mancho set up but maybe not take part, we may well have a bot in the race. We will have an AI Mancho. Ghosted cars that you cannot collide with. This is not the case with Mancho. You can very much collide with his AI car. So let's just say the stewards might have some sort of wrap up later. But I think everyone is just excited to get the race underway. Excited might be the wrong word. Excited is quickly giving way to tired and frustrated. And oh my god, why can't Mancho just get out of here and get this race going? This god is absolutely alive right now. I'm also interested to see, by the way, the 11 drivers that are now going to be racing instead of 12. There's no big call. Sometimes there's like a big call where, aside from the projects. So Ferrari leave to go on their own call, Merc leave to go on their own call. A lot of the two-man teams stack together. That's not actually happened. So Mancho and Aquila joined their own channel. Gaben and Sonny did so as well. The only one on his own would have been Franklin, but he's joined general chat with the Alpine guys. So we haven't got anyone more than any call bigger than 3 drivers at the moment. It's really fragmented. It's apologies for the delays, guys. We're to recap everything that's happened tonight, which isn't much and a lot of delays. This is round 18, the Spanish Grand Prix. This is season 6. This is our 129th race overall. We had qualifying earlier with only 12 drivers. The McLarens managed to back out in Q2. They didn't manage to progress. We had retirements from Franklin and Shadowhopper. Wilder later on in Q3, we had 7 drivers shoot it out for pole position, and the Aston Martins are very much in control of this race. They hold P1 and P2. They hold the front rows on the grid, so they've got every chance of getting the expected result, which is a 1-2. It looks like we finally have a countdown. The jury is still out on Mancho's AI car. We think that he's not racing, or maybe if he is racing, he's there just to retire his car. But we'll see if that can happen as our drivers start their formation lap on the game. So we'll see if anything happens. We'll see if there's any calamities caused in lap 1. Yeah, whatever you want to do. No worries. Envy has his fair share of distractions tonight as well. It's like Cody's are knocking on his door. But we'll get this underway. We'll get through this together. As band of brothers. We never watched that final episode. If you're watching Brandon and Glenn, we'll get this sorted afterwards. Yeah, we'll see if we need a change of casters, but for now, all should be good. Drivers are in the formation lap. Pyro is going to keep smurfing like he has all night and bring us the stream. So 12 drivers are in. If anyone wasn't here for the last 10 minutes, I wouldn't blame them because it was basically me ranting. Mancho's car is in the race. Mancho had all sorts of technical issues, and I think he's feeling guilty enough that he said, guys, I'm going to dip out. I'm going to let you guys drive the race, and I'm going to get out of here. So we don't know if Mancho at the moment is driving or if he is a bot car. We hope there will be no incidents caused by the bot, the AI. And I think the way that's going to resolve is Mancho is going to try and back out, going to try and retire early. So Blaze is for some reason at the back. I think he let everyone else go first. And this is coming at the end of the formation lap. Quick request to production. Can we get the telemetry and data enabled on the broadcast, please? We're going to see some mad deltas tonight. So yeah, it's all sorts happening at the moment. We've got our drivers getting towards lap 1. That's a great question. Let's focus on the Red Bulls, Miffy and Hodgson. So we've got a mixture of soft and medium tyres here. Aston Martin's on the front row. We've got something near the start, Miffy and Hodgson. Either side, Blaze, Wilder behind them. Everyone prepared for the lights here. This is round 18 of 25 in Season 6, race 129. Lights are out, and away we go. Mancho's bot car still on the grid. We'll see if that affects anything. McLaren fans, avert your eyes as the two Aston Martins lead their way towards the front of the field. Somther slotting alongside Gaben, and the two Red Bulls try and find their way in. Always a difficult turn 1 and 2. It's a dogleg. Traction is hard to find. It looks like one of the Red Bulls is having fun with an Alpine. I believe that was Hodgson's Red Bull, and Wilder is able to take that P5 away from him. There are a lot of drivers on softs at the moment. With them not lasting too long, it's important to get a very rapid start away because you have to use the advantage of your tyre while it is still active. The medium tyre compound can last for a long time, so the soft tyre users must sort of get their advantage, make the overtakes happen while they can, because they will be losing time in the pits after about 7 to 8 laps. The delta's very low at the moment. We've got Sonny and Gaben leading things out. We've got Wilder and Hodgson still trading. We've got Monty overtaking Blaze at the moment, and there is a VSC on the track. I don't know if that's Mancho. It looks like he retired his car. So Mancho, doing the gentlemanly thing, took control of his car for 4 turns, took his car off of the circuit at turn 5. While that is a VSC, and in fact now it is a full safety car, it is better than the alternative where drivers plow into Mancho one after another, and we have all sorts of retirements. Yeah.
I think it's very interesting to see what we're going to see here tire-wise, as we see Hodgson already pitting, Monty pitting, and also Shadowhopper pitting. What I'm wondering most, is this going to hurt especially Wilder, since he is out a bit further in front? Is he going to stop the next lap or not? Or is he going to do an Hodgson and wait for all cars to pile up and then go for a pit stop?
Yeah, it's a really tough battle, because if you're pitting, it looks like the guys are going on to mediums, not hards. Going on to a more optimal strategy. There was a disadvantage that you brought up, Envy, of qualifying from Q2 on the soft tyres. So qualifying on the medium tyres does look like a great call, with the drivers at the bottom now being able to pit onto the mediums. It does sort of sacrifice track position for getting onto the inverted commas correct tyre strategy for the race. The track position will sort of be reset again. Everyone will be right behind each other as the safety car comes in. This is the first lap under safety car. The way the safety car works is it normally takes 3 laps, so this will be laps 2, 3, and 4. But if everyone's together going into sector 3, normally the safety car comes in at the end of the lap. So Whopper is the only guy adrift from the field at the moment. If he can rejoin in a few corners, it will come in. If not, we'll have lap 3 under safety car as well.
And what I wonder is, I'm really wondering on the thoughts of Franklin Wilder on why they did not stop here. Because they're going to have to stop in a few laps from now.
Yeah, they certainly had the time to do it. The safety car shout came through mid-lap. So, yeah, if the guys ahead of them, certainly Hodgson, got the call to go in. Yeah, well, it would be interesting to find out their thoughts. They did stay on the softs, so that does give them an immediate boost of speed. But as you said, they are going to have to make that extra pit stop, as opposed to the sacrificing track position. So, for me, I'm with you. I think the guys who have gone to mediums, the 2 Alpines and Hodgson, have smurfed this one. Hopefully when the safety car comes in, this will be at the end of lap 3 rather than lap 2 now. The drivers will be closer, we'll have a better race, and Mancho has sacrificed his own race to give us some real action. So props to Mancho. I think drivers could have been more hungry for points and maybe said, no, we're going to do this until we get it right. But he's been a bit magnanimous. And yeah, props to him. Sucked for his result. Pyro weeping in the background, but he's going to have a stronger close to the season. He's got good finishes in him, just not today. Yeah, let's see if we can bring in another caster. So Envy's doing his own multitasking tonight. Pyro is going to double Smurf. He's been doing everything behind the scenes. He's also going to jump in as my off commentator. So yeah, we might even have a tricast going. So I'll see if I can conduct everyone. Pyro, how you doing? Introduce yourself to the stream and tell us how the streaming's gone tonight.
Well, I don't know how Stuban does it, but I hope everybody can enjoy my stream, whatever I'm doing on screen. But yeah, aside from the fact that Mancho's already is gone, which saddens me, I put all my hope onto Aquila. So Aquila, you got this today. A P3, okay, maybe a little optimistic, but you know, a good points finish, and I'm happy. Other than that, I'm just trying to somehow press these buttons, and hopefully you at home have a nice, enjoyable experience out of it. I'm surprised safety car didn't come in, by the way.
Yeah, same. I'm hoping we don't get a bug, but we'll see what happens. The safety car is programmed to last 3 laps, so I'm hoping it comes in at the end of lap 4 here. Or our drivers are crossing the finish line to get us onto lap 4, so this should be when the safety car comes in. The worst case scenario is if it doesn't and Mancho's retirement has caused an eternal safety car, at which point I'm sure we would go for a remake, because yeah, that would be like I think it was 2021, the Grand Prix that was under rain in Spa and lasted 2 laps and was awarded half points. So yeah, we'd certainly have a conversation between me and the race director, and we'd get something going, but it's already late into the night. Let's just hold our breath for one more lap. Let's not go for the Doomer scenario. What it does mean if we do end up with a 1 lap shorter race in a 3 lap safety car is drivers can sort of extend. The drivers that are on softs at the moment can start to look at maybe a strategy where they run for 7 or 8 laps and then switch to the hard tyre and complete only a 1-stop strategy. This could be the way forward, and it could let them use the tyres that they have efficiently for the amount of laps left. Medium hard does start taking knocks the more safety cars there are on the track, but all you can do is respond to the tyres that you have, the remaining laps left, and what your title rivals are doing. Another good thing drivers do is if there's 2 drivers in the same team, take different strategies so you're not double stacking each other.
Safety car in this lap. Let's see. Ooh, how does Sunny do this one? I'm actually surprised. I never... like, since it happened, I think when was it, 2020, 2019, where the safety car lagged into me and it retired me, I will always race off the racing line. I don't trust these safety cars no more. I was surprised that I was that close to that safety car.
Was that the one in Japan where you got yeeted into orbit? Oh man, that's so good. Like, again, get the clip. We thrive on clips in VLF1. Yeah, there's a great clip where Pyro is meandering along the track at one moment. The safety car reaches out and slightly touches him, and then Pyro gets sent like an air cannon 500 meters away. It's beautiful. What we are going to see now, though, is the drivers restarting after the safety car. The safety car is back into the pits. Yellow flag in Sector 3 is related to Aquila, so there is a green flag elsewhere on the track. Aquila can go back into the pits. I think he took wing damage there, so is going to be in a fortunate position, can repair his car rather than have to go around another lap. The remaining 10 drivers are going to be on green flag conditions. They're able to start racing away from each other. They're starting to battle each other, and it's going to be the Aston Martins at the front starting to get a delta already on Somther. Wilder is going to be the first 1 second plus gap up top. Miffy, Blaze, Franklin, Hodgson behind them, and the 2 Alpines at the back. Hodge, Whopper, and Monty did take that extra pit stop at the start, so they are on the fresh mediums, as opposed to a couple of the drivers on softs further up. I believe Franklin, maybe Blaze, and maybe Wilder are on the softs as well, so they'll be looking to get some advantages straight away before their tyres fall off the cliff.
Yeah, and you said it well. Wilder was on the softs, and he's holding up the P4 pretty well. Obviously, he's no match for the guys at the front, Sumter, Gaben, and Sunny racing, driving their own race here. With Gaben actually challenging Sunny, which I really love. But other than that, Wilder's holding up a good race. Miffy behind him is on mediums. and currently outside of the DRS. Speaking of which, the DRS is yet to be enabled.
Yeah, it's the I believe it's the third lap after the safety car as Sonny picks up a fastest lap. Really nice job on those medium tyres. So with the safety car coming in at the end of lap 4, it will be next lap, lap 7, where we start to see the DRS coming in. I'm not too familiar with the circuit, so I could be talking out of my backside when I say this. But I think we've got 2 DRS straights. I think we've got the home straight, and I think we've got the straight after
Yes.
turn 9, the long right-hander. So
Yes.
yeah, there's a... Oh, good. I was actually right. Hog. So we've got those are the places where the drivers can use their straight line speed, use the ERS, use the DRS, use the slipstream, and get past the driver in front. It's going to be really important when the drivers are close together. But the Aston Martins are too good, man. They're close together. I know that Sonny and Gaben will be in a call together. They'll be coordinating this down to a T. They'll be just sort of towing off each other, no competition, just smoothly taking it away. It's the partnership that I think we all want in life. And they're just already a second or more ahead of Somther, who is a very fast driver himself. So if the Aston Martins can keep doing this and there are no more safety cars, then you might as well give them the 44 points now and not watch the rest of the race. But this is VLF1, anything can happen. Just as I say that, there is a yellow flag. I believe it is Franklin at the back of the formation, and he is going to get his way back onto the track. We'll see if he pits. As Sonny gets another fastest lap, Water is Wetmore 11.
Interesting. I cannot switch to Franklin. Currently his car does not exist for the game. Lovely. P10 doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well,
nine drivers remaining. He is into the pits. So Franklin is gonna. We'll see if he changes tire. With 26 laps to go, it's still too long for a single compound finish. The hardest tires are the hard tires. They last about 20 to 22 laps going to the cliff. So
Medium.
let's see what he does. That is going to be the mediums. So from here, you're looking at maybe medium soft or medium. But Franklin has the liberty to call it. I think he's made a good stop at this time. Sucks to have the damage, but he is going to be able to get back into the race. Everyone else in the field, fairly consistent. The deltas are more than a second, which means that they've sort of found their own groove. The only drivers that are close are the 2 Aston Martins at the front towing off each other. And then Whopper has a bit of a close gap to Hodgson in front of him. Hodge taking having a few difficult times with the circuit. He's had his share of pain in the past with Spain, and he seems to be going consistently for now. Let's hope the caster curse has been avoided. Whopper, Envy did point out on the broadcast because of the retirement in the qualifying session, this might be a race where he struggles to get a finish off. So he just needs to look for consistency, like we're seeing from a lot of our grid. With 11 drivers, it would be a real shame not to pick up points. It's almost guaranteed. You just need not to be driver number 11, and you're coming home with points. So don't retire is the name of the game, much more so than in any 20 driver race.
Shadowhopper made a clean move, obviously with the help of ERS and DRS, but it was a clean move on the straight. He's just passing through, giving Hodgson no chance to come back. Now he probably just want to move away, and I don't know what happened to Hodgson because he's already half a second clear, but does not look good. Maybe he has floor damage, maybe a little bit of wing damage, because Shadowhopper is fast right now. He's also he overtook Hodgson and is already inside of the DRS of Blaze.
Yeah, Hodge is really having a tough time right now, and Whopper's been doing really well. I had to look at the sweatboard then just to check. Hodge is way off. His best time is actually today, and it is a 1:18.3, which is 3 seconds off of Sonny, and it is a good 1.4 seconds off of Whopper. So I don't think Hodge has had serious time attacks at the sweatboard, but if it is an indicator, it shows that Hodge really isn't having fun this track. Monty has just caused a yellow flag. He took that series of turns, I think 11 and 12, a bit too awkwardly. Careered off the track, don't know if there's wing damage, but he did cause a yellow flag. He's going to have to get back onto the track and does lose a lot of ground to Hodgson. And there's Shadowhopper making a move on Blaze. That's the second position in a couple of laps. Whopper is really herring it down the straight here and manages the dogleg well. That is a clean overtake from our guy in Alpine.
There was a little bit of contact with Blaze. I think Blaze wanted to move but saw him too late. So there was a little bit of contact. I don't think anyone got any damage from it, not by the looks of it. But that's interesting to see. And like you already said, Shadowhopper is on a mission today. Holy.
Yeah, Blaze versus Hodgson. This could be good. Hodge and Blaze not having the hottest of pace at the moment. I'd say normally Hodge would beat Blaze in pace, but this might just be Blaze's day. Hodge is in DRS range at the moment, so Hodge will be able to activate DRS, and it looks like those drivers are very close. Hodge just behind Blaze here, looking for the opportunity. Blaze having a really tough time of turn 7 and turn 8. Hodge emerging to the left of Blaze as we go around the DRS at the end of turn 9. That does look to be clean. Monty having another career off the track further back. But yeah, Hodge getting ahead of Blaze there. Blaze handling that pretty well. Looked like a little wobble from our Mercedes captain as we approached turn 9, but took the exit fairly well, keeping things consistent as we want. Monty really not having the best of time. It suggests floor damage or maybe wing damage.
Ooh, Wilder is pitting here. He's the first one of the soft runners to pit. Let's see what he pits on. Probably a medium, so he goes soft, medium, medium. Would be interesting to see if he gambles maybe for the hard for a later safety car. Yeah, it's a medium tire for him. And he comes out in P8 because Monty, Franklin, Aquila are a little bit far behind because of the incident early on.
Yeah, 100% mediums there. Great call. Won't take you to the end of the race, but allows maybe the 2-stop. Hard still not it for maybe 2 or 3 more laps. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to check was Wilder. He's had a few incidents with going off the course, damaging his wing a few times recently. He's one of my success stories this season. He's improved a lot as the circuits have kept going by week on week. I wanted to see whether he pitted then because of tyre life or because of wing damage. It looked like that was just tyre life, so he's driven cleanly so far, starting his second stint on mediums. Now he will need to pit again. Blaze following Hodgson now, so he hasn't dropped back. They have similar pace. Blaze attacking Hodge down the DRS, but it hasn't resulted in an overtake. Hodge managing to use his ERS pretty well as we go through Sector 2, and Blaze is going to consistently hold this position, and it's great to see because P7 would be a great boon for him in the standings.
Yeah, meanwhile in the front, Sunny pulled out now 1 second gap to Gaben with the fastest lap as well. So he's probably comfortably up front now, and Gaben also has a nice puffer to Samta, being 4.7 seconds. Who knows? I hope that this just shows that Samta is managing his tires a little bit and stays fairly close. But who knows? While I say that, I think Wilder had a spin.
Yeah, it's looking like a yellow flag, and that arrow is rotating quite a lot on the map. Just as I was praising Wilder, he has an issue towards Sector 3. That sucks, and at the same time, so Monty had wing damage on the straight after turn 9. Looks like a bit of debris on the track, maybe. And at the same time, Wilder gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane after having an incident towards Sector 3. So a few losses of control by our drivers near the back. Wilder falling prey to my finest commentator's curse yet tonight, and he is going to emerge from the pits. He's still in the race, and being in the race means you've got a good shot at points. 10 points positions, 11 drivers. Math is on your side. Monty is going to come into the pits as well. That was a really late curve. And he's into the pit wall! Oh my god. Oh.
He did a me!
It's a me, Retirio. That's just as I was talking about the maths of points positions. There's now only 10 drivers. Finish and you've got points. Simple as. Monty is going to retire on lap 11. In case anyone is unfamiliar or hasn't got the clip of Pyro in either the USA or Abu Dhabi, he went at full speed, tried to go for a pit lane stop, and instead of going into the pit lane, went into the dividing barrier at high speed, took his front wing off, and that was terminal damage. So Monty is out. Shadow remains as the only Alpine in the Red Bull sandwich further up the field. Blaze still chasing Hodgson, had a couple wobbles towards the end of lap 10, but has managed to keep things going consistently. He doesn't need to beat Hodgson on track here. He can keep going towards the end of the race. Tyre strategies, I believe they are different. I believe Blaze is on the softs, but I could be wrong. I am wrong. It's the mediums.
I think everybody so far except Wilder is on the softs. So let me check if I can put it on.
Yeah, go for it.
There we go.
Yeah, good switch. And we do see that everyone is on the mediums apart from Wilder with the fresh swap. Wilder has about 21 laps to go. It's probably soft medium from here on in. He's taking the shorter stint. Maybe that's confidence. Maybe that's an instant burst of speed without the traffic. But he's getting back in there. Blaze on the 11-lap old mediums. You're looking at sort of 15 laps of mediums for the cliff. So yeah, there's he can still sort of do the track with this stint and then another one at the end. 2 laps older than Hodgson isn't too much of a detriment. He is following Hodge, and the DRS is enabling him to do so. Moves slightly to the right there, threatening an overtake from 6/10 back, but no, he's going to keep things consistent. I'm actually proud of Blaze for this because the first 2 turns are really difficult to navigate. I often had a lot of trouble with them when driving. I don't think he's with his favoured wheel setup in real life, but he's able to navigate really well even when chasing another driver. The slipstream can really throw you off. The dirty air can be difficult, but he's managed to follow Hodgson really well so far. So yeah, let's not talk about that too much because of Caster Curse reasons, but I think this battle could be one to watch going into the second half of the race.
Yeah, and I really like it, especially because showing yourself can cause a little bit of psychological damage, you know, the driver ahead seeing you were really close, showing yourself every now and then. It's like, okay, I have to kind of defend, and you know, if you play the game long enough, maybe the guy in front of you will make a mistake which will help you get ahead. And not only that we have an interesting fight between Hodgson and Blaze, and Gaben and Sunny doing their own little race with fastest laps. A Shadow Hopper actually moved to the next, let's say, victim, being Miffy, because he's already close to the DRS range as well. Look at that.
Yeah, Whopper is on an absolute run right now. I don't know what was in his Weetabix cereal this morning, but it was something with adrenaline in and maybe an illegal narcotic. In his last 3 races, he's got a P4 in Canada, P5 in Portimao, and a P9 in Monaco. He's looking to get top 5, and he's got the pace to do so, it looks like. Miffy is a very fast driver himself. All of these drivers here in the top 5 have featured very highly on the sweatboard. They've put a lot of time into this track. They've put a lot of time into making sure the racing line is correct. The one thing that you can't practice as well is that 50% experience following behind another driver. So Shadow Hopper is going to have that tested. He's already got past a few drivers, Blaze, Hodge. Miffy is a different beast on this track. He is faster than the previous 2 drivers. He's also ahead of them, as you would expect. So Whopper is going to have his work cut out, but he's approaching a DRS zone.
No,
as Blaze has a yellow flag. Let's quickly watch the Shadow Hopper move, and Blaze goes for a recovery here. Whopper is not able to make the overtake happen, but he is going to tail Miffy for another few corners. Blaze, it sucks. That's just not good.
Oh, that's so... No, you praised him as well. We praised him. I praised him as well. So saying how good he is, showing the man, and then he makes the mistake. Maybe he played too much. Who knows? It's unfortunate to see. Hopefully he doesn't have any damage, so we can see him fight for another points position while we say that Shadow Hopper has his prayer ready and made the move up to P4. Holy moly. Oh, I love this one.
It's the sort of thing where you think maybe could he take something if he keeps going like this, and he's got the pace. It's a 6-second delta, which could be quite difficult to overcome. But yeah, Blaze is pitting now. He's going to have to wash the stain of that off of his soul. But he is going to put on the hard tyres, and we are past the point now where the hard tyres can take you to the end of the race. The life to the cliff is about 20 laps. We are 18 laps from the finish line. So Blaze, in theory, can finish the race on this compound. It's a good strategy. The problem is he's already quite far back in the running order. He's coming out of the pits in P8. The other problem then is if there's a safety car, that sort of do one stint to the end is going to be interrupted, and he's going to have done several laps on the slower tyre, so in theory will be further back. Miffy has obviously not been okay with being overtaken by Shadow Hopper, this upstart from Alpine, who the last time I checked, the lowest scoring constructor in the Constructors' Championship. Miffy ain't having that. This Trav is watching in the stream chat. Trav has got all his expectations on Miffy because, let's be honest, Hodgson and Spain on a Red Bull. So Miffy has got 7/10 to make up on Shadowhopper. Trav can't be having this. Trav is going to be feeding information down to Miffy in the comms box. He's going to be telling him not to let Shadowhopper do anything here. And Miffy's going to look for the overtake. It's not going to happen. Whopper had that sorted. Miffy's still looking for an opportunity as he goes around turn 2. Solid right-handers here, but Whopper has kept the line really solid. No discernible overtake, no closing on Somther. But this is a really nice battle between Miffy and Whopper as we go halfway through the race. Miffy is 4/10 behind. He's looking for every DRS angle he can and almost looking for an overtake there. Miffy is really hyped up. He's like he's heard my casting. He wants to make every possible move happen. And yeah, all Ramasol mold is what Trav's latest contribution is going to send. It's going to be all sorts of powerhouses from Miffy. Let's see if he goes for it. This is after turn 9. It's a 0.7 gap. Shadowhopper used his ERS really well there. Shut Miffy out, made sure there wasn't an opportunity to overtake there.
Let's see how much Shadowhopper has. Oh, he also has a depleted battery. It's not looking good. And at the top, by the way, Sunny pitted now. He is the first one of the medium runners to pit. On lap 17, you said lap 18 is ideal. Probably they wouldn't want a double stack, so he's already in. Probably switching to the medium. Some are also pitting. Let's see what they're switching on hards. Yes, it's the hard tire.
Yeah, gotta be the hard tires. This is textbook. This is Jeff all the way. Medium hard one stop. Okay, Jeff maybe didn't factor a safety car on lap 1 that lasted 3 full laps into his plans. But yeah, the hard tire is the optimal one right now. Stop the count from Alpine because Shadowhopper is in P2. But let's be honest, Sonny's going to get back into a better position because he's on his final tire now, in theory. We're going to be seeing something onto the hards as well. Gaben does still have to pit, but he has waited a lap. That is a yellow flag in Sector 3. I think it's the Merc of Blaze. Let's have a look. He's doing a nice little scenic tour. He's having a fiesta with his Spanish fans. And yeah, the fans may be Spanish, but his chance of points might be about to vanish as he's going around the final sector. He's just had a few incidents. He's not chasing Hodgson in the midfield anymore. But despite all of the chaos that's happened, despite all of the spins, throwing the League of Legends game, and maybe battling with Wilder here, they can still both get points. There's 10 drivers, 10 opportunities for points. Just don't crash. Don't crash. That's it. All you need to do. Wilder is going to be leading Blaze out here. Wilder with the 5-second penalty from earlier from the speeding in pits. Wilder also, I believe, on the soft tyres, so expected to make the faster move here against Blaze's hards. Is going to have the speed advantage. Half a second ahead of Blaze here. The hard tyres here are the C1s. They are the hardest tyre that Pirelli have manufactured for the season. They are built to withstand all sorts of lateral force. Blaze actually having a really good time there. I don't know if Wilder's tyres are about to hit the cliff because the soft tyres do so pretty quickly. I'm not actually sure how long ago he pitted. Production, also known as my co-caster Pyro, is already on the route. And we're already more than halfway into his stint, 5 laps versus Blaze's 1 lap old hard tyres. So Blaze with DRS could be about to keep things interesting. And Aquila is coming up behind them. This is a really nice battle for 8th there.
Oh, I love this one. Also, now stop the count because Shadowhopper's in P1. Okay, obviously he still has a bit. But, oh, imagine, I would love to see that. Oh, yellow flag. Oh, no, that's my
Safety
driver.
car, safety car, safety car. Call it. Okay, no, I got too excited. I don't like McLarens going by the wayside. I don't like rookies going by the wayside. Aquila with a yellow flag sucks. I do want to see him perform really well here. He's sort of building up. I want to see him become a regular contributor. But yeah, I really wanted to see the safety car for the stop the count moment for everyone to come into the pits and go on like 2 sets of softs or something. That would have been like Shadowhopper tactical perfection, like Zandatsu moment. But yeah, Blaze having the... Oh, that's 2 wiggles. Can we make it 3? Nico Rosberg, get your heart out. That was cool. That was baby driver right there. And
Lovely. I love that. I thought that one. No, we have a Red Bull driver. Oh no,
oh,
Miffy.
Red Bull. Miffy, no. Ramsey is on the grass and is also on the green stuff in the game. He has had a tough time. And it looks like he's got an intact wing, but is suffering from emotional damage to the meme. Still on the hard tyres, so it would be catastrophic to have to pit early on in the stint. He's in a clear P6 at the moment, but his teammate is coming out of the box ahead of him. This is Hodgson. Hodge is on the medium tyres now. I actually don't know what Hodge started with. It would have been the softs. He's on a 2-stop. It's okay. I thought Hodge had gone onto an illegal tyre strategy for a second. Wouldn't put it past him. But he is going to be ahead of Miffy right now. Medium tyres can last you 15 laps, so he is going to be able to go to the end here. Both Red Bulls are, in theory, on their final stint.
Oh my god. Yeah, I also thought for a second, wait, did Hodgson not already pit? But yeah, he did. Wilder still has to pit, by the way. He's still on the soft tire, which is interesting that I think now he's on the 7th or 8th lap, so he's going to pit really soon. Well, I said that Aquila at least pits. Yeah, no, 10th position still doesn't exist for this game. So we're not gonna see what he switches on for now. But I can do a little cheat. Bam. Nope. There we go.
There we go. Fantastic move. We see Aquila in the box. Whopper leaving the box as well. Well, Whopper in the box as well. He's just coming in to serve his pit stop. Stop the count moment is over. He is going to go on to his final stint. It is going to be on the mediums, is
what?
That? It looks okay. I don't know if his earlier stint was mediums only as well.
It was a medium.
Did he start on softs? Did he switch on the early safety car? If not, he is entered.
No, because that's his first pit. First pit stop. No, second.
So
wait, what?
Okay, so he must have been on softs from the start. Pitted onto mediums lap 1? with the safety
Oh,
car.
yeah.
Okay, right. I was so convinced that he'd
Yeah.
entered that one and gone mediums twice, but Whopper is back out. He's not going to be fighting with the Aston Martins.
Saved.
That's a bit of a pipe dream. But he is going to be doing really well. He's ahead of both Red Bulls, who are on their final stint. Whopper is also on his final stint as well. In fact, I think that's true of the top 6 cars. May even be the case for Franklin as well. Wilder is set to pit again, though, and he is going to be on the medium tyres most likely. He's also got to serve that 5-second penalty for the speeding into the pit lane on the first stop. So he is going to have a really extended pit stop here. One thing that I am going to commend our drivers for, apart from Wilder's 5-second penalty, that's the only. There are no other penalties. No one has had multiple corner cutting warnings. It's been a really clean track. It's not been a doot track with loads of invalidations.
True.
The field's done really well in keeping it within bounds, keeping it on pace, which is another amazing caster curse about to happen. But yeah, Wilder is going to lose P8. Blaze is going to have every trump card in the book against him. Blaze is on his final stint without penalties and is just sort of driving cleanly. So I expect Blaze to hold down P8 at the current trajectory. Aquila is very far adrift at the moment, so is hoping for a safety car to bring everyone back together.
I don't think he wants a safety car. He's lapped, and this game doesn't allow him to unlap. Oh my god, that was dangerous line for him to take. I think he's also getting lapped by Santa now. Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, Aquila moving to the side there. That's a really gentlemanly move there. You wouldn't want to have someone overtaking you off on turn 9. Yeah, Sonny's still in control of the fastest lap at the moment. Wilder is going into the box right now with 12 laps to go. It's too many for softs, probably way too few for hards. This should be a medium stop, which is legal and optimal. We'll see what he goes for here in the Alpha Tauri garage. With Dormin not there and Miffy being promoted to the Red Bull seat, Wilder will be the only guy that the Alpha Tauri garage is looking out for. So yeah, full attention there. Mediums on, no wing repair required, and the 5-second penalty is served. So penalties clean across the board once again. Wilder coming out of the box. He's going to be way clear of Aquila and way behind Blaze. So almost a nailed on 9th, but nothing is nailed on in VLF1.
Yeah, we still have a long way to go because still 11 laps, but we know everything can happen in 11 laps, especially on this track, and especially when the tires start to degrade a little bit more. I mean, most of them are on hard tires, but like you said already in the pre-show, and I said, or I think MV said it, these tires don't last that long. They're just perfectly made to last the end of the lap when you pit exactly when you want them to pit. And while I said it, Franklin pits. Interesting.
Yeah, let's see what's happening here. So he's on the mediums at the moment. I'm not sure how old the tyres were, but he is going into the box. Let's see if the Ferrari garage have a wing and a prayer for him.
No.
Another set of mediums being outfitted here. 11 laps to go. Seems good. So it's his second stop. Will have started probably with the softs, going for a 2-stop soft medium. Soft medium medium even. And is going to be slotting in just behind Blaze. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our final battle on our hands for P7. In the blue corner is Blaze Homewrecker, captain for Mercedes. In the red corner is Blood to Bleed Franklin, the only representative for Ferrari. And he is holding up Glenn's honour. Envy and Nawal are putting all their hopes in Franklin as well. The gap is currently 2.5 seconds. Franklin has the tyre advantage with the mediums to Blaze's hards. Both can finish on this final stint at the moment. This could get really good. Blaze and Glenn can't happen today, but we have the next best thing if Franklin can overcome this delta and get into DRS range for a final few lap shootout. Meanwhile, at the top of the table, Gaben and Sonny are just absolutely chilling. They are Bing chilling, they are memeing it, they are smurfing it. Use whatever adage you like. Sonny has a free hit on Zydox and on Gaben in the championship. The gap between them in the championship is 70 points, so it then becomes down to a battle of do they want to race each other and risk DNFing, or have they got a plan for Gaben to get the win over Sonny, and for Sonny to extend his lead, Gaben to get a move towards Zydox, and with no effect on constructors. Maybe we'll find out either after the race or in Discord. Yeah, it's just been really solid from Aston Martin. They bossed qualifying. There were worries over Gaben in Q3 because he took about 4 laps to get a solid time down, or indeed any time at all. But when it comes to the race, both Aston Martins have been there together. They've been controlling it. They haven't really been threatened at all. Even Somther and Miffy, who were really fast, couldn't get close to them. They've just driven away from everyone on the sweatboard, in qualifying and in the race. Well played to both Aston Martins.
Yeah, that reminds me of Mercedes and IRL. Oh, that's just boring. I mean, good props to them to pull that off. That you have 16 seconds to P3, who is Santa, who is also not a slow driver. He's a really, really good driver and actually can be really, really fast. But they are just on a different pace today, as always. And I mean, it's boring for us as viewers, obviously, because P1 and P2 is pretty much settled. But as a driver, to pull that one off, you really have to have talent, and props to them. But as a viewer, I'm gonna say maybe a slide or two. You know, just to make things interesting.
Yeah, it's either let's see if we can get Mancha out of the side with a steel chair, or if we can get or more realistically, if we can get someone to go, oh no, that's Blaze. He's the wrong way in Sector 3. He was battling with Franklin, and he seems to have thrown P7. Based on his wing, he may have thrown P8 if he needs an extra stop, but I think the wing's okay. Just emotional damage and maybe 2 points in the running as well. The two Aston Martins who are leading the race are getting very close to Blaze now, so probably will get blue flagged and have to let them pass soon enough. But the deltas are too huge. Blaze is now 8 seconds behind Franklin, pending floor damage as well. 12 seconds ahead of Wilder. Just needs to have a few more laps where he doesn't have those issues and bring things home. I'm hoping there are no incidents as the Aston Martins try and pass him, and that's horrific. That's bad for Mercedes as well. Blaze with a really good double spin. I don't like that he's spinning out, and he won't like it, but he is recovering really stylishly.
Yeah.
And just as things go bad to worse for Merck, Blaze spins and loses a few more seconds to Wilder, and Sumter picks up his first penalty, which is a 3-second penalty for, I believe it's corner cutting track extension. Just as Shadow Hopper drops to within 5 seconds of him. So this could be really bad potential position loss for both Mercs.
Meaning Shadow Hopper has a chance on a podium, because if he just gets on 2.5 seconds faster and closer to Sumter, meaning Sumter will drop to P4.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lap car. Okay, I thought for a second. Oh, no. Alright. Well, I get that point, Aquila. You did a well race either way.
That would have been cool. That would have been like a hello there moment just in the middle of the track.
For a second, holy shit, how did he get in front?
And yeah, I've actually got both things open at the moment. I've got the live Discord stream from you at the moment, and just breaking production secrets on air, by the way. And I've got the Twitch stream open. So I got to see Brandon's spin and subsequent double spin recovery twice. It was amazing. Nice. Please catch it back if you didn't get the chance to see it live. We have Gaben still in the second of Sunny. Aston Martins are still dominating the race. No signs of an incident or a collision or tough battling or a penalty from them, such as the way that they've dominated the race. And yellow flag, it's a Merc. I believe it's Blaze. Again, he is bleeding positions in the second half of this race. He was so calm and collected in the first half as well. But as soon as the hard tyres are on, it's just gone from bad to worse. He's had the degraded tyres. It's the slower tyre compound, and he's just spun around several times. None of it's ended his race. None of it's caused him to have to go for an extra pit stop. I don't know about floor damage, but maybe we'll hear from him later. It really sucks for him, and I think this might just be an endurance thing with having to race with a suboptimal setup in real life. He's had to move in real life, and he's working with a suboptimal racing setup. So while he's still likely to get points, only 3 or 4 laps from getting guaranteed classification with the 90% rule, he's maybe 4 points off where he could have been.
Monty left the session. Oh, okay, he's DNF. I thought for a second. Somebody that's driving left the session, that would have caused a chaos.
Oh, man. I love Z-Way's call in a Twitch chat, by the way. Can we equalise things for the Aston Martins by getting them to use NES controllers? There's apparently a battle for first place going on.
It's team.
Yeah, Bauer, this isn't a battle. They're totally okay with this. They're totally like coordinating things. To be fair, it's the closest delta we've got at the moment, but if it was Sunny versus Sumter, this would be a pitched battle. I've been in calls with Sunny and Gaben before. They're super chill. They're just sort of coordinating these things. They've got enough ERS in the tank. They've had no incidents. They're not having any issues getting around the track. It is exactly the 6 Zs that you've typed in chat right now, Bauer. Like, it's the Aston Martin domination. You can see the Spanish flags in the background. Obviously, Aston Martin, massive Spanish links, JK. And they're about to come around and lap another driver because Franklin is in P7 and he's going to see the Aston Martin Vernichtungsmaschine, to use the Impress Carlos Salzberger term, in the rear view mirror. 6 laps to go. Aston Martin dominating this one. I do kind of want to see the Max Daniel incident, the double brake zone, the chaos, the banter and interviews afterwards.
I want to see the Rosberg Hamilton incident. It happened in Spain, you know.
Yeah, I just want to see anything to do with these two being shaken up, but they've earned their position. They've driven really quickly. Oh, yellow flag at the moment. It's in sector 2 and sector 3.
Oh!
That's a safety car. 5 laps to go, and it
DNF,
looks
no.
like it's been caused by Akila's DNF at the end of turn 9. So, cruelly, I think that is 1 lap short of the requirement for 90% classification. I don't think Akila will score points today, which is the cruelest of all fates. Now, what's happened here is the safety car will be out here for lap 28. It might be lap 29 based on how the race leaders do things. It will be lap 28. And what we're going to have is maybe a 2 or 3 lap shootout. So all of the drivers at the moment, where Delta is allowing them, are putting on the soft tyres. The Lord of Motor Racing has reached out his hand. The lightning bolts are erupting, and even though Franklin might have been lapped, I'm not sure if that was the case.
No, not yet. That's a good thing.
Not yet. Okay, Ferrari have a dog in this fight, and Franklin certainly has the dog in him for these final few laps. Sonny and Gaben are on the hard tyres. They're going to need to box, and they can because of the Delta. Because if they don't box, they're going to have Whopper and Somther on fresh softs behind them for the final. It could be 2 laps, it could be 3, but we are going to get a shootout here. This is VLF1. And the second safety car has brought us a finish for the ages. Bauer was talking about a foregone conclusion in Twitch chat. The Guatemalan economy will be absolutely impacted by this one. Think of the exports, ladies and gentlemen. As the Aston Martins have to come into the box, surely they will both pit. They will double stack. This won't matter because of the 46-second delta. Back to Shadowhopper. But they will be putting on the soft tyres.
Oh, what a perfect
So will Whopper. So will Somther, so will Hodgson, so will Miffy, so will Franklin. Blaze has even got them on, even though he's a lap down. Wilder is still on the mediums.
He stayed out.
What?
No! Why did he stay out? Oh, he wanted to get unlapped. Okay, no, that was smart, actually. That was smart. He wanted to get
We'll
unlapped.
see if it can happen.
Oh.
He's certainly battling to be in the running. Safety car sort of trundling along, and it looks like the first lap of the safety car is 29. From my experience with the safety car, because it's VLF1 and Cody's, there are no hard and fast rules. From my experience with the safety car, it will always come in with 2 laps to go, so it will always leave 2 laps of racing, which is 32 and 33. If it runs its full 3-lap duration as a safety car, it will come in at the end of lap 31 and we'll have a 2-bapper. Any sort of field coalescing before then, if everyone stacks up before then, we might get it earlier. But until then, everyone's got to prepare for the showdown.
Oh, we have Shadowhopper in 3rd. When did that happen? Wait, what? Huh? What? What happened there? Oh no, and Somther also has a 3-second penalty, meaning he's not happy about everybody getting bunched together again. Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
This is Hodgson's win. No, too much copium. It's not Hodgson's win. Right, calm down. Calm would tell me to do one if he saw that. He would tell me to just do one. Wilder is going to come in. It's a lap late. Shades of Hodgson here. But we'll see if he did unlap himself.
So,
I don't think he will have managed to.
I want to stay on him because I wanted to see. He stayed out for 1 more lap to get the distance because the safety car slows everybody down. Let's see if he can make it. Oh, I hope. Unlucky for Blaze, he couldn't make it, but I think Walla did it. Yeah, Walla did it easily. That was smart boy.
Fantastic. I doubted that he'd be able to do it, but it has worked for him. Blaze is stuck a lap down, but Wilder has managed to unlap himself. I doubted that it would happen, but he is big-brained in this scenario. The downside is that in the next 2 laps, because we're starting lap 30 now, I believe, we are going to get Wilder having to catch up to the back of the pack in 2 laps. So he's got to overtake a good minute 30 in 2 laps against the safety car. So Wilder having everything to battle for, but he's been able to fight himself in a position where he's on the same lap as the leaders, and that is commendable in itself. So well done, Wilder.
Yeah, it does. I mean, unfortunate for Blaze, it sucks. The game doesn't allow unlapping yourself, but I mean, he still gets these 2 points. If you even now, if he should DNF, yeah, I think we have more than 90% of the race distance. 2 points is at least something. Obviously, you as a driver will always want to fight for more, and on track position means more than just 2 points because you finished at all, which is a little bit, yeah. It's like a pity prize. But at least you got something, you know. 2 points are 2 points, and it means like you didn't DNF like the other 3 drivers that were on this race. At least something.
Yeah, and this is going to sound BM at Blaze, but I'm going to say it anyway. This will be his confirmed highest scoring position this season.
Wait, what?
He's scored 3 points so far this season.
Oh no!
They were both from 10th place positions, so the extra point comes from the fact that in the Styrian Grand Prix, he finished P10 with the fastest lap on softs.
Oh,
So
no.
he's only scored from 2 10th place finishes so far this season. As you say, he's reached 90% race distance, so the lowest he can finish is 9th. This is unprecedented scaled heights for Blaze. The only way is up, even if he instantly DNFs now, so he has a real free hit at his best possible result. I would say that Wilder is beatable, and I would say that Franklin, he has a good chance at beating, because everyone's together. Wilder has a 3-second time penalty! Oh, Blaze is actually 1 lap down, so he's going to have to do something here, or hope that Wilder doesn't catch up. I got a bit ahead of myself there, but Blaze has got 2 points, and we can celebrate that fact. The safety car will be going out for lap 31. This is its 3rd lap, so based on that, and based on the fact that it leaves 2 laps for racing, this should be the final lap of the safety car, and based on Wilder's position on the track, Wilder should be able to catch up to the pack. So great news for Wilder. Shame about the 3-second time penalty, which is a death sentence on the safety car, but he's going to get himself in a position for the fight. Sonny, Gaben, Whopper, Somther, Hodgson, Miffy, Franklin, Wilder. They're all on the same lap. They're all on soft tyres, and we have the showdown that was promised at the end of round 18 or Spanish Grand Prix. Sonny and Gaben are hot favourites, but they were hoping to meander into the distance, sort of flipping a coin in chat for who gets first place. Shadow and Somther won't want that to happen. They'll be attacking them from the outset. This will be a 2-bapper. It is not that deep. It is a 2-bapper for the full points, for the glory. And Shadow Hopper has been showing off some real good pace. It's not Aston Martin pace, nothing else has been. But if you can spring a surprise in the first couple corners of 2 laps, anything could happen. Everyone's got their fuel load to minimum. They can't change their mix on 21, but they're going to be giving it everything they've got. They've got their batteries full. And the safety car is coming close to the start of Sector 3, hoping we get that confirmation soon.
Oh my god, I love this one. I don't want to cast a jinx Shadow Hopper, but I just say Shadow Hopper. Yes, please. Come on. Also, oh my god. No, I don't say anything. I will just cast across multiple cars at this point. Yeah. But I'm so for it for these 2-lap fights, and I hope nobody spins. If anybody of you dares to spin now, you just are okay, I don't want to curse on stream. You just don't spin. Nobody spin. Got it? Everybody got the memo? Good.
Okay, no spins confirmed. I'm just going to read out some stats before we start. Sonny and Gaben have never retired in the same race. Somther has never won. Hodgson has never retired 3 times in a row. And Shadow Hopper has not won this season and hasn't won a race ever and has got closest with a P2. With those unrelated statistics out of the way, we start our final 2-bapper. Somther and Shadow Hopper are chasing down the Aston Martins, but it looks like they're already clear. They're already side by side. We're going to have Shadow Hopper leading out Somther as we go down to turn 2. It's a long dog leg. Right-hander into left-hander traction is really important. I hope they have warmed up their tyres here. The Aston Martins are already in the distance. And that is a massive spin. Shadow Hopper already out of contention as Somther holds down P3. Hodgson in P4 already. Blaze is going to be at the back of the pack right now because of the lap incident. Shadow Hopper is going to lose so much time. There are 2 laps here, so a spin is detrimental.
I knew it. I effing knew it. Just okay. Unlucky.
Okay. Take a breath. We've got 7 drivers remaining to have any sort of contention. Wilder has a penalty. Franklin is chasing him now. Is in net P6, but Wilder will want to stop that happening into an actual P6 on track. Everyone moving around turn 9, the critical corner that caused Hodgson all so much pain in Spain, and it's mainly on the train as we go around turn 11. The Aston Martin's still holding things up 1.4 seconds the gap. We won't see DRS for the rest of this race. Blaze, 3-second penalty won't matter for the standings at the moment. Somther clearly ahead of Hodgson, seems to be on the way for another podium. The deltas are increasing and the 2 Red Bulls holding down midfield. Wilder with a penalty there. Shadow Hopper looked to be causing some interest, but has caused all sorts of chaos in the final 2 laps. He's gone off the track and it looks like he won't be finishing in those top 7 as Franklin is racing really hard right now, chasing down Wilder.
Oh my god, yes, that's the most interesting battles now between Wilder and Franklin and Hodgson and Miffy. Let's see who will take which position. I think between the Red Bull boys, it's just gonna be either who's gonna let who by. Don't think they want to race too hard. they will just lose points if they do that. As behind them, Walla is 2 seconds clear, and Franklin is actually losing a little bit of time, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, you hate to see it, Franklin, more than a second down Wilder, but still should be enough. Given the penalty that Wilder has will be 3 seconds or more. Miffy within half a second of Hodgson. Hodgson wouldn't spin on the final corner of turn 9 as we go around the race, would he? Surely he wouldn't. You know, right? Gru, impossible, despicable me. Meme isn't going to happen. Hodge is doing really well here. Hodge is more than half a second clear of Miffy. He looks to be set for a P4. The Aston Martins are at the front. Sonny is set to win here. He's at the top of the Drivers' Championship. He is looking for a sick dub. He's been ahead of his teammate for a few laps now. Aston Martin have been really clinical and haven't let the last 2 laps scare them off. They haven't let the narrative be upset. Sonny and Gaben coming around. Clean race here. Sonny winning his 18th Grand Prix. Will he let it go to Gaben? They're both memeing here. They knew that was going to happen. Sonny, Gaben 1-2. Somtha coming around for P3. Hodge into P. Somtha got a penalty and that pushed him outside. He's down to P5. It's a Red Bull 3-4. Travis cheering somewhere in London. Franklin leading out Wilder for P6, P7. Whopper is going to get P8 locked down. He could have been so much higher, but he had a spin at the start of the safety car restart on lap 32. And Blaze is going to record his highest finish in this season, despite having so many issues, despite being a lap down, despite that penalty. He had so many reliability issues towards the end of the race. You could argue he could have battled for so many more higher positions. He's even going to have a nice little slowdown. He's going to do a little spinola into the Aramco. But that is going to be a P9, and it's going to be hard to argue with those extra 2 points for him. Well played, Blaze, but well played to Sonny and Gaben, who've just let the race be absolutely boring because they've dominated it so well.
And blood to bleed, Franklin with the driver of the day. I mean, yeah, the only Ferrari driver being there, attending, and doing actually a decent race. I would agree. Oh, Hodgson also with a P3 on the podium. I completely didn't see that one. I thought it was Smithy for a second. How did Hodgson slip in there?
Absolutely. That's been like the story of the season. Hodge just getting points that no one would really have calculated that he got. Hodge getting P3. Even I'm surprised. I was looking at the standings in the last lap. Yeah, I thought Miffy was ahead. Let's take a look at these standings. I'm going to get a shot of them with and without the penalties. There we go with. There we go without. Beautiful. Can we get a tyre shot? I want to see what tyres everyone used, please, Pyro. A last bit of smurfing here tonight. Fantastic. So yeah, no one with the one stop. We had those safety cars in. Yeah, we had a lot of 2 stops and 3 stops. A lot of people didn't go for the hard tyres at all, just went for the mediums and softs in combination. Wilder coming in with a 4-stop strategy. But yeah, ending up in P7. Man.
Yeah, crazy.
Just a lot happening there.
What a race this was.
Absolutely. Yeah, there was all sorts going on. Aston Martin dominated. Red Bull surprisingly getting P3 and P4. I would argue the 2 biggest contenders for P3 were Somtha and Shadowhopper. Somtha had that penalty. Shadowhopper had a spin at the start of lap 32, the safety car restart, so managed to lose his position to the top 7. Franklin and Wilder with really good finishes. Aquila, man, that sucks. Even with Mancho getting out, Aquila was looking really solid to get some points towards the tail end. It is a cruel factor of the standings that because he didn't complete 90%, he doesn't manage to get any points. So Aquila will rue this opportunity missed, but he's definitely got the pedigree. The first time I saw him race, I think, was Portimao. He was a good 3 or 4 seconds down in the qualifying session I saw him in, then instantly retired in the race. Whereas now he's within half a second in quali and able to take it to the tail enders in the race. So just like Wilder, nice pattern of improvement. Sucks for this particular data point, but yeah, there's bright hopes there. How are you feeling about McLaren on that one, Pyro?
It's so sad to see Mancho obviously having issues and not being able to really attend it. And Aquila almost had a point. I think I jinxed him because it was like, all right, it wasn't the cleanest race, but at least he's finishing it, and then he doesn't finish it. It's so unfortunate, but I mean, I can see it. He still has a lot of pace in him, and so far it's just proving to the other teams, because he really doesn't have a team, hopefully for next season, that he technically has the raw pace. He just needs a little bit of fine tuning here and there, and then it should be fine. And he's up there in the midfield somewhere. I can see that. Maybe, who knows? he's gonna be the next surprising driver at the front. But as far as I can see, he will be up there eventually. Just unlucky that lately he just either too nervous or just doesn't have the stamina yet to go 50% of the race is really focused, because it is still a race, meaning if you're just not focused for a second, it can cause you to spin or really easily lose it into a wall or whatever. So yeah, unfortunately, but I still believe in him.
Yeah, boy. There's lots of potential redemption coming in. Quick check: do we have an envy in the house?
Yes, we do indeed.
Yeah, boy. In which case, I'm gonna hand it back down to you guys on the desk. It's been fantastic to commentate with you on the race. There's been a lot of action, maybe a boring 1-2, but a lot of potential flashpoints. We'll see if you can get any guys in. I'll be on hand to move people in and out as required. So I'll hand it back to you guys, Pyro and Envy.
Thank you very much. I just have to see. Wait, how do I do this one? Can I just copy this face into here? You're still invisible for me. An invisible envy is in the driver's box. Oh wait, no, I have it. Give me a second. Can you fill for a second, Envy? No, just share your thoughts on what you think for the race.
Well, I missed most of the race due to some technical issues at work.
Aw.
But I seen the last part and I was very surprised by seeing Shadow turn his car around.
Shadow turning. Oh yeah. Oh, that was so unfortunate. I even said it. Don't you dare. Nobody spins today. And then he spins. Like, come on. I knew it will happen. It didn't have to happen today, did it? Shadow Hopper was doing such a great job. Oh well. Let's see. I don't know. Who do you wanna like? We have the final result in here. Hodgson somehow slipped onto P3. Kren already said it. It's usually not his track, and somehow he still managed to get a P3. Miffy with a P4. Something unfortunate because of a penalty on P5. So not sure. We currently have people waiting in the green room, meaning for us, Envy, we can just choose who we want to interview. By the way, to the Twitch chat real quick, Copycat family, have a great all night as well to you. They have been watching since the race started, I think. Who do you think we should drag into here? One of the Aston Martin boys or Red Bull
I think
boys?
Hodgson could be an interesting one since he managed to sneak onto the podium.
Hodgson. Okay, let's see.
Gotcha.
Thank
yeah,
you
I'll drag in
much.
Hodgson as a potential bonus. Do you want me to grab Miffy and then you can bounce it between
Oh
the
yeah,
two
we
Red
can
Bulls?
do him as a duo. Yeah, for sure.
Let's
Put
do
him
it.
on.
In which case, let's catch them in the middle of a random comment. Here we go.
Hello there. Can you
Hello.
guys hear us? There we go. Hello, Hodgson and Miffy. How are you guys doing? How do you feel after this race?
Yeah, really positive. I think Miffy's currently AFK. But yeah, we're both really positive after that one.
I see. I mean, how did you slip in there with just and like for me, I didn't no nothing against you, but how did you slip into P3 suddenly? No one was paying really attention. You just did your own race and suddenly, bam, here you go, podium. How did that happen?
Yeah, I think it happened from. I think it kind of happened from the start, to be fair, because starting on the softs is not really the most optimal thing around here. And having that first safety car really allowed myself to be able to pit onto the mediums, like what Shadow did, and then be able to go to the end on mediums, allowing us to essentially have an advantage at the end of the race on people such as Somfer. But even then, I think he was catching quickly, but I wasn't catching close enough. So that last safety car kind of really secured it, especially after Somfer was unfortunate to get the corner kicking penalty. And then at that point, I was like, right, okay, Miffy, realistically, let's try not to battle because it's only going to benefit both of us on getting the spot onto Somfer. and then somehow I don't know specifically what happened, if he spun himself or hit something, but Shadow then had to spin, and it really allowed us to then push for that podium.
So there was kind of a team call just to say, okay, let's just stay this way, trying to be as close as possible to Somta, and then just gain the points because he will drop both points or like both positions really.
Yeah, exactly. Had we have battled, because I know Miffy was right up behind me, I feel like one or both of us could have possibly fallen out from the 3 second delta. So, we decided to make the call of, let's just keep it calm between us. Let's just try and take the point from Somfa.
Well, seems fair. A point, that was more than 1 point. The poor
Well,
guy.
the place, shall I say.
Yeah, the poor guy dropped 2 positions. So if having already a hard race because realistically no one was catching Sunny and Gaben today, and then having the penalty cutting corners, oof, was a tough
Yeah,
day for
I
him.
mean, at the end of the day, with a lobby like what we had, that the the idea of just having as consistent of a race as possible was definitely the right way to go about it, because I mean, you've seen what happened during the race.
Yeah, I mean, you did a very well job with the driving. Obviously, I don't know. Probably it's not really your track suited to you because pace wise, it looked like you were struggling sometimes. Not sure what Shadow Hopper ate today because he was just on different kind. And seeing you drop that far behind, not sure. Is it not a track you like or?
Um, so at least for myself, the problem that I had going into this race was issues with setup and having extreme amounts of tire deck compared to other people. I found that the front left was really digging hard. And I remember last season, I had a similar setup to what last season was. I tried to tweak it, but I didn't have too much time. But even last season, I had struggles with tire degradation. So I tried to see if I could swap it up a bit. It didn't really work, but the finish ended up being a bit of a relief.
All right. I mean, fair enough. Like you said, you just did your own race and somehow it worked. Sometimes you have those races and you take them, right?
Oh yeah, always.
um, not sure if Miffy is here. Miffy, are you here?
Hello.
Hello. How was it from your point of view? We heard from Hodgson now. I think you also had really interesting battles. One as well being with Shadowhopper, who unfortunately spun at the last lap or second to last lap. How was your race going? From your POV?
Yeah, it was kind of chill. I didn't really have the pace to keep up with the top three off the line, so they just kind of drove away. Nothing really happened until Shadowhopper made his way back through the pack, and I made a mistake into I don't know one of the later corners, and it meant that he was basically just right on my wing when the DRS got on the DRS went on the straight, and he was just like straight past. I was just like, yeah, could you try and keep him behind? I'm like, no. As he was driving past me, and I'm like, no, probably not. But yeah, that was fine. I pitted and then was kind of like in my own race, which I kind of find difficult when there's like absolutely no one around you to kind of check your pace. It's just like, two deltas on the side. And I had a little spin in the final sector. So that probably cost me I probably Podge ended up overcutting me, and I probably would have stayed ahead of him if it hadn't been for that, because I think I lost about 10 seconds.
Did you have any
But
troubles with the tires?
I didn't really like the hards. I hadn't done any practice on them, and I was very much like way more comfortable on the softs when we went to them at the end. That was definitely my jam rather than anything else. I was kind of just surviving on the hards. I was terrified of is it turn 6, 7, 7, 8, the uphill left-hander. Yeah, that thing scares me.
Yeah, I think that scares a lot of drivers, and a lot of drivers actually spun on that corner. Fairly enough, not as many as we thought. Other corners were a little bit more dangerous today, but I think you were not the only one that was scared of that corner.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Envy or Credit or anyone has any questions for you guys.
Not
y-
necessarily. I feel like you've covered it pretty much.
Yeah, I'm just going to hop in with what team are you moving to after Trav kicks you both?
I mean, there's a hell of a lot of free seats at Ferrari. I don't think Envy would know anything about that though. So
No.
Nice, that's it from me.
Oh.
My car wasn't working this weekend.
wow, the entire weekend. That's like quality. Hard up at Alfa Romeo. They don't have any spares.
Ugh, I wouldn't
Yeah,
put
we
past
were-
them, to be fair.
Well, I didn't catch that last one. What you said, Hudson?
Oh, I said I wouldn't put it past it. Built by a Ferrari, you know.
Oh. All right.
I mean, that was a pretty sick burn. If we're going to mention personal insults like that, you might as well mention that Blaze has now overtaken Envy in the World Drivers' Championship.
Envy, you
Oh.
need to get back in the car, mate.
Yeah,
Blaze-
I'll turn that around next week. You know.
Last I saw of Blaze, he was in the wall at the end, like on the start-finish straight. Like-
Yeah.
That is Blaze's highest finish this season. I don't know what you're talking about.
oh, no.
To be
Yeah.
fair, you guys have to rewatch the stream and see how many cool spins he did. He wasn't really doing well in position wise, but the spins he did today were really nice.
Yeah, if you're going to
Well,
spin,
especially
that's
the
how to do
double
it.
one. The double spin.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
But-
mean, I will give him a bit of credit. Until he did have the unfortunate spin, he was keeping up really well with me. Shadow obviously blitzed by, had the pace too, but I was really struggling to try and shake him off. I was trying to use ZRS and all sorts, and he was still staying there. So, you know, and until what happened, he was doing really well that race.
yeah, no, he was actually doing quite well, and then he spun the first time and decided to just keep spinning because for fun. I don't know. All right. Not sure if Creden, you have anything else to say?
No, all good. I think the Red Bulls have proven their worth to Trav.
All right. Well then, thank you guys. It was an enjoyable race to watch. For a second, I want to say match as if we are playing soccer today. Actually, we played league according to stream. So, you guys did well. GG.
Yeah,
And-
GG well played. Promoted.
I carried.
Yeah. No gangs from Hudson today.
We'll talk about that later.
All right. With that said, thank you for being here, and hopefully I will see you guys next week.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thanks,
So I don't know about you, but I wanna really quick just gonna see Gaben and ask him about one or two things before we gonna end it, if it's okay with you guys.
I like your style. Let's do it. Let's drag
Alright.
Gaben in. P2.
Let's see. P2 Gaben. Hello, Gaben.
Hello.
Hello. How's it going?
It's good. It's can't be better.
Can't be better. Are you sure? Because I am interested. You guys at the front were different beasts. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. As a viewer point of view, obviously it's gonna be boring because you guys just dominated without really having a fight or anything. But you guys were just too fast for anybody else, and I'm interested to see because you didn't have any other fights than with your own teammate. Was it plans that you just gave up your P1 afterwards, or how really did it go? Because after the first pit, obviously you undercut your teammate a little bit, and got ahead of him. Did you just decide to, well, let's just race, or did you guys say, no, you know what, I'm just gonna give it back to you at the end of the race?
At the beginning, we were just planning on taking it how it goes, and then like switch position here and there to save tires, fuel, etc. Because obviously the one behind gains more fuel but loses more deg, and then vice versa. But I think Sunny put a better time on the quali, and I mean, I didn't want to fight him that much because I think it would be unnecessary to take any risk. especially when he's trying to get ahead of Sidox as much as he can for the win of the championship. And honestly, I'm just happy to get P2.
All right, so you don't have a problem with Sunny taking a P1. You were just like,
No.
yeah, he was faster today. That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. Why do you have team voice chat and a teammate if it's just as wonderfully of a team? Wait, how do you say? Well, if it's just that wonderful, like you two both just talk it out and both of you guys are happy, then why not? That's the team that you want to have, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't have to tell it to you. Obviously, you guys currently in a World Constructors Championship sit ahead by miles. I think that's pretty much settled. I don't think anybody else is gonna challenge that really. Not sure if Sidox will turn up, but I feel it. I don't know if he's gonna turn up or not. But what do you think? I mean, World Constructors Championship, you already have it in. The Drivers Championship, do you think you can take the P2 from Sidox?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? Seems pretty fair.
Yeah.
I mean, if he turns up, I think it will be for an interesting battle. As long as he doesn't turn up, I think that P2 is also pretty much yours. You're currently sitting P3 with 10 points behind him. It's more than possible. And I think you're also happy to be a runner-up to Sunny's World Drivers Championship. Not sure if you want to challenge this one. Will be a difficult one, but...
Yeah, I also think he deserves it more because he's been way more consistent than I have during the whole season. Like I've been checking, and the last 5 races I've gotten more than half of my points. So yeah, I think over a season he's just been better.
So even if technically you had the chance to get the title, you would say no, he deserves it more. I will back out of this one.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That is team sport at its peak, and I love it. So hopefully, if next season you guys are on the same team, we will see a fight, maybe for P1, maybe for the World Drivers Championship next season. But
I said next season it's elbows out.
it's elbows out. I love this one. So now it's still friendly. Everybody is, well, like you go both just have the best synergy out of everyone, I feel like, and especially fighting for the Drivers Championship. Usually people are not that nice while they're fighting for the Drivers Championship. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Not sure if Creden, Envy, I think, has to go. Thank you, Envy, for being here. He sadly had to leave. It was fun casting with him, but he sadly had to leave a little early. Creden, I don't know if you have any questions to Gaben.
Yeah, no particular questions on today because it obviously was a great performance from you guys. I will ask for Spice. Apart from Sunny, which driver do you see matching your pace in the next few races? Who's your closest challenger? Who can
Sidox if he shows up.
Yeah, simply put, I like it.
Well then.
Okay, yeah, that's everything from me.
Perfectly. Thank you again for being here. You can drag him out.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers, Gaben, and congrats again.
Thank you.
Very nice drive.
Yeet.
Yeet. All right. With that being said, what a wonderful. Oh, I just let you disappear instead of the ticker. Well,
we're all running anyway. Oh man, it's been a very long race. Obviously, I think you've had about 4 different roles today, from race commentator to desk commentator to interviewer to streamer to producer to social media influencer. You've done the whole thing. You might as well have been driving on the track today. But in case it wasn't obvious, you've done a stellar job today in rotating between everything. So well done. You deserve a break. And I don't know if you're going to be doing the same next week. For info, we have a few key players away next week. I believe Trav, Stool, Alex, and maybe 1 or 2 more can't make it for next Sunday. So we're currently discussing whether there is going to be a race next Sunday, which is June the 4th. When we have news on that, we'll confirm it in VLF1 info. The next track, when it is raced, will be the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's one of my favourite tracks, and everyone tells me that I'm an idiot for liking it because it's just a really Monaco-style track where no one overtakes, but it should be a nice technical track. Ah, a fellow Hungarian driver. I like it.
Yeah, but you need to get used to it. But once you get, I feel like it's a good track.
Well, let's see if our drivers will be getting used to it. The sweatboard is open. The time trial's already. Yeah, we'll let you know when that race is on. Normally it is every Sunday, but we'll discuss whether we've got enough personnel to run a stream or a production for a race on Sunday, June 4th. If not, it will likely be Sunday, June 11th. We have 7 more races to go in this season 6. The top of the field is getting very good with Aston Martin. We've got a couple of nice battles. I'm just going to pick out a couple that have changed today. So I mentioned earlier that Envy's been overtaken by Blaze, who is up to 5 points. Franklin also got a few places. He is in P8 overall. His P6 of 8 points today overtook Mancho and Maka. In World Championship, Alpine have overtaken McLaren by virtue of Whopper's performance with his P8 with his 4 points. On top of that, Red Bull having the stacked drivers of Hodge and Miffy with P3, P4, see them overtake AlphaTauri into P2. So a lot of good trends for the drivers. We'll be seeing if they can continue them. Yeah, Pyro, but it's been a long night, especially with sorts of delays, a couple of remakes, and then having to switch to 4 different roles. Have you got any messages for any of the drivers or any of your McLaren team or anyone else before we go?
Not really. I mean, I like doing this stuff, therefore I am here. I don't have a problem. The only problem I have currently is that my room somehow heated up to 31 degrees, so I'm sweating, and I don't know how my PC survived this one. But yeah, I'm happy to open the door soon and get a cold breeze, hopefully. And about my drivers, McLaren, we will get our season eventually. It doesn't have to be this season.
Yeah, boy. As long as you're having a good time, I've always had this in VLF1. If you're having a good time and you like the people you're with, then it's good. Whether you're part of a great team like Ferrari or a trash team with a bad captain like Merck, it always works out in the end. You'll find your home and have a good time. Right. Without further ado, let's give Pyro the air freshener break he deserves. Thank you for tuning in with us. Thank you for being patient. If you stuck with us this long, hope you enjoyed. We'll let you know in VLF1 info in VL Discord. Use raw reaction to get there if you haven't already. About the next race, it will be in Hungary. It'll be round 19 of 25. Until then, it's been fantastic. Cheers to Pyro. Cheers to Envy. And thanks to all of our drivers and our community for making it possible. Have a great night, everyone. And yeah, catch you next time. Hasta la vista.
Bye-bye.